By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Canon Business Solutions. Digital technology powered by people. And by The Wiz, your ticket to entertainment.
How about that sunshine in the city and throwing out the ceremonial first pitch tonight? Jerry Bailey and his son Justin. Now, I know you follow all kinds of sports involved with the ball, baseball, football, basketball, but Jerry Bailey, world-class jockey. He'll be riding Thunder Blitz in the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. Close friend to Don Zimmer and Joe Torre, and nice treat for Jerry and his son Justin. Big Yankee fans. There is a certain buzz in the air tonight, Kenny. I know yesterday after the game, the Yankees were a bit testy about all the talk of Pedro Martinez, but that's what happens when you're facing a star like Pedro. It creates a little extra excitement. That's Pedro with his warm-up jacket on, and Ramiro Mendoza set to make his first start of the season. The lineup that Jimmy Williams has posted, they swept the Blue Jays 4 in a row. They're scoring plenty of runs. Offerman, Nixon, and Carl Everett. Manny Ramirez with a moonshot yesterday at Skydome. Then Troy O'Leary, Jason Varitek in the bottom third, John Valentin, Brian Daubach, and Shea Hillenbrand.
Defensive lineup for the Yankees behind Ramiro Mendoza tonight. The infield from third to first, it's going to be Brocious, Jeter, Soriano, and Martinez. In the outfield, Knobloch, Williams, and O'Neill, and Joe Oliver is doing the catching for Ramiro Mendoza tonight. Joe Oliver is playing in his 9th game of the season. That is the fewest games of anybody who started the season with the Major League team. So Joe Oliver has seen Jorge Posada do most of the catching this year.
He has not started a game in over 2 weeks, and of course that's the value of having a veteran like Joe Oliver. He keeps himself ready every day. Despite that, all those innings that you're looking at with Mendoza are in relief, more than a hit per inning, good control. And as Al pointed out on the pregame, Ramiro kind of a victim of his versatility. He never gets to be a regular starter or a regular reliever. There's the scouting report on him.
Oh, when you look at his record, he is the king of the road. He is 10-15 here at the stadium and 31-12 on the road. He has an outstanding sinker, and it's Valentine's Day. John Valentin is 8 for 11 lifetime against Mendoza.
And Offerman will lead it off. On the corner, strike one. Looped out into short right center. Soriano makes the call and puts it away. One quick out here in the top of the first on a very pleasant, comfortable 73-degree evening at the stadium.
Great walking day in the city today. I got a good walk in. And
a lot of energy in the city today. Everyone enjoying the sunshine. As Paul O'Neill had said, the Yankees took batting practice on the field today, I think, for the first time in about 9 days because of the inclement weather. Trot Nixon in the 2-hole steps in. And it's called strike by Dan Morrison. Mendoza with that good sinker. A lot of movement on his pitches, and his changeup has gotten much better. There's a moving fastball outside. Ball and a strike.
You were talking about batting practice today. The pitchers hit for the first time this year, getting ready for interleague play.
Off the corner again, 2-1. Boy, do they relish that opportunity to get in there. When they do hit one, they have fun talking to the regulars. Hey, this hitting's easy. There's nothing to it. At 5 o'clock. That is on the corner, 2-2. Good fastball upstairs, fouled straight back, and that'll reach the seats. That's always a surprise, I think, to opposing hitters. They go over the video, and you see Mendoza, sinker, slider, changeup. Just about everything is from mid-thigh down, so when he does run that little fastball upstairs, it can be very effective.
Plus, with the movement on that pitch, a left-handed hitter might have a tendency to give up on it, and then it darts over the inside corner.
Grounded toward shortstop. Jeter on the run. Tosses out Nixon, 2 up, 2 down in the Boston first.
That ball looked like it might have taken an erratic hop as Jeter went to get it, and he stayed with it and made the play on Nixon.
Carl Everett, whose average has picked up, I guarantee you he's a happy guy that Mike Messina's not pitching. I mean, Messina set him down with high fastballs, pitch after pitch. But now you've got Mendoza, a low ball pitcher. As Mike looks on, he'll pitch tomorrow night against Baltimore's Jason Johnson. And Everett, like Valentin, a 400 hitter against Mendoza. Squibbed foul toward the Red Sox dugout. There's the umpire alignment tonight. They stayed over from the weekend series. Dan Morrison behind the plate. Randy Marsh is the crew chief. Angel Hernandez and Hunter Wendelstedt. Outside a ball and a strike. When you look at the Red Sox, you mentioned Valentin and O'Leary, who's the designated hitter tonight, and Everett. They're all hitting over. That guy hits 400 against everybody, Manny Ramirez, but they're all hitting over 400 against Mendoza. 2-1, and I think the reason is, you know, two of them are left-hand hitters, and they like the ball down. Valentin's a right-hand hitter, but he likes the ball down also. Good fastball. It's amazing how guys coming off arthroscopic surgery like Mendoza, their fastball gets better.
Well, I think they get stronger as the year goes along. That was probably the best fastball he's thrown all night. Everett at the plate facing Mendoza had an 8-game hitting streak broken yesterday. You mentioned he's been swinging the bat pretty well.
Full count.
But most of Everett's hitting has been done at Fenway Park this year. He's got a 375 mark at his home park, so that means that on the road he hasn't been quite as proficient.
Hit sharply down the right field line past Tino Martinez, and Everett will stand up with a double. O'Neill a little difficulty digging the ball out of the corner, and Everett with a 2-out double gives the Red Sox an opportunity here in the first with Manny Ramirez coming up.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it tailed right back towards the middle of the plate where Everett can really turn on it. I think this ball was a little more inside. He might have jammed it, but see, gets those arms out and extended, runs it by Tino down the right field line for the 2-base hit, and the Red Sox have a man in scoring position.
I mentioned the last time we did a Red Sox-Yankee game that come September when we're in Fenway, you're going to hear the chants, Triple Crown and MVP for Manny Ramirez. And right now, he has Triple Crown numbers. And yesterday, the longest home run ever at Skydome. We'll get a chance to show it to you sometime tonight. First pitch swing out right now. It's a pretty good time, Kenny. Let's take a look at it.
You might be able to get either a quick look or a long look at this one. It was up there for a while. This is going to be a Corona Extra Effort Award. A 491-foot home run by Manny Ramirez at Skydome against the Blue Jays yesterday. Here's a better look.
Another bomb to left. Where will
I mean, if they didn't have a roof, that might have gone out of the park.
It was close to a shrimp cocktail in room 406 at the Skydome Hotel. That's
some kind of blast.
I stopped by Oliver Paul and a strike on the changeup. Ramirez, that was a hanging curve, and there's been so many power hitters over the years. Dick Allen's name comes to mind that you have to pitch him high and hard or real slow and real low, but it's difficult to do pitch after pitch. Manny doesn't miss too many of those mediocre breaking balls like he got yesterday. 1-2 on another off-speed pitch. Let's check out our batting leaders. Brought to you by Continental Airlines. Alex Rodriguez is having a great year. I mean, he's got some almost Triple Crown numbers in Delgado and Troy Gloss, with Manny up at the top.
Alex is going to have to learn how to pitch.
Struck him out. Not many can do that. Good off-speed pitch by Mendoza. Sets down Manny Ramirez. Pedro Martinez takes the mound when we come back at the bottom of the first. heard about him. You've seen a lot of them in the last 12 days. They could take that Martinez off his back and just put Pedro on there because everybody knows him now as Pedro. He's 7-1, and here's the lineup that he'll face tonight. Couple of changes for Joe Torre. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill at the top, then Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez. How about Henry Rodriguez? Welcome to the lineup. First start against Pedro. The bottom third, Brocious, Oliver, Soriano.
Defensively for the Red Sox in the infield, Hillenbrand, Valentin, Offerman, and Dahlbach. In the outfield, Ramirez, Everett, and Nixon. Jason Varitek doing the catching for Pedro Martinez. Manny Ramirez, well, he's not the DH tonight. First time this season that he's played the outfield, and he's going to go into the expansive left field at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, he was accustomed to playing right field here when he came in as a member of the Indians, and he had that big fan club out and right. I hope they realized he was playing left tonight. And from Washington Heights, they may be over in the left field stands. There's the impressive numbers, 7-1, and you check out the walks and strikeouts. It's just incredible. In 81 innings, he is. There's only been one other pitcher in the history of the game to have the strikeout-walk ratio that Pedro has had, and that's Sandy Koufax. And there's Everett and Manny Ramirez with a little discussion. Everett giving us some counseling on where to play some of the Yankee hitters.
Yeah, Everett is kind of looking to his right. There's a big gap in left center field. I think, Manny, you got a lot of room to cover with Chuck Knobloch up here at the plate.
First pitch fouled out of play. There's the big gap. They don't expect Knobloch to pull the ball, but you know, if you're Red Sox outfielders when Pedro's pitching, you know, get a cribbage board, play a little game out there. You're not going to get a lot of action. Ball and a strike. Up and in, perfect spot, fouled out of play, 1-2. Here's the scouting report on the Dominican dandy.
The lightning in his arm. He has 44 more strikeouts than anybody in the league. Roger Clemens is second. And that's what the league is hitting against Pedro Martinez, a .186.
Walmart kind of pitcher, huh? Got number one. Knobloch down on strikes. He went a little glance out. Pedro has that nice glare glance, and Knobloch with a bit of a grin at him.
Good fastball right on by Chuck Knobloch somewhere in the mid-90s.
I like that in a pitcher. It's not that he's arrogant about it, but Pedro, after he strikes out, he just kind of gives you that look. Take that. Well, I got more coming.
Well, maybe he wants to get the reaction of the hitter. You know, most hitters, you know, they just take it with a grain of salt. He's going to strike out a few anyway. And with that strikeout, the Red Sox have now overtaken the Yankees. Well, now they're actually tied. Mendoza had one in the first. They're still tied. Both staffs have 451 strikeouts to lead the league.
Jeter takes a borderline ball. Derek's average a bit over 300.
And Kitty, with the unbalanced schedule, this is the fourth time that Pedro has started against the Yankees this year.
Sharply, but right at Valentin. Bobbles momentarily, plenty of time, tosses out Jeter, 2 away. Let's check out our Nissan fact of the day. Drum roll. And it is the third pitcher in the last 20 years to start 3 games against the same team in a 12-day span. Just doesn't happen that often, particularly with a 5-man rotation. Most of you are aware the reason he is the rained-out game of May 22nd.
Yeah, but I do know for a fact that you pitched 3 games against Cleveland within 8 days. And you had a win, a loss, and a no decision.
One of each. O'Neill. Ooh.
Well, how'd you start 3 games in 8 days?
Probably got knocked around in one of them. You know, it's the old get back on the horse theory.
Yeah.
If you get right, I think I pitched 4 2/3 in one. You get roughed up. Hey, let me back out there again.
So 2 days later, you started again.
And O'Neill swings through that, a ball and a strike. Of course, that was 4-man rotation.
Yeah, okay.
And sometimes the third day.
You mean they skipped the 4th guy? You know, now they occasionally will skip the 5th guy.
Sometimes they would, yeah. I mean, if you could pitch Pedro every 3rd day and he could do it, wouldn't you want him out there? in for a strike. I think Pedro testing home plate umpire Dan Morrison. The first pitch to Jeter and then the first one to O'Neill were like, could have gone either way. And a pitcher wants to find out early in the game which way they are going to go.
One other question. Did they have a Players Association back in to keep you from pitching 3
No, that was 3 years before it came into effect. O'Neill down on strikes, a pair of Ks, and a little glance out toward Pedro yet. How do you do it time after time? Here's how it started. Got a non-block on strikes. Jeter on a ground ball. O'Neill on a strikeout. No score after 1. To the Bronx, Pedro with his usual start and his usual game face. A pair of strikeouts. And Mendoza to O'Leary. First pitch, ball 1. Troy O'Leary, the DH tonight.
He's got an 8-game hitting streak going. He's hit .315 in May. And he's still hitting .241. So you know he's coming from a long way if he's hitting .241 after hitting .315 in a month.
Good hitting count here, 2-0. In for a strike. Well, the Red Sox have an abundance of outfielders. Most of them of what you'd call the DH characterization. Nice changeup. Mendoza threw there. He threw a couple to Manny Ramirez, count level at 2. Good changeup again. And Mendoza staying right with Pedro Martinez. He's got a pair of Ks.
Well, the target is low and away. The pitch is actually going to be right in there. But still good enough to strike out O'Leary. The change of speed's got him.
You know, Jimmy Williams, I think, has done a remarkable job with, talked about the abundance of outfielders that the Red Sox have, and he's got to try to keep all these guys happy. You give O'Leary a few at-bats, then you got Bichette, you got Nixon, Everett. Of course, Manny Ramirez is most of the time a DH.
Darren Lewis.
And he just tries to juggle them around, match them up, give everybody a little chance. Good curve in for a strike. I mean, this team is Pedro, Manny, and many others, and it's a credit to them that they've done what they've done without Garciaparra. Veritek. 0-2, 3 of those 6 home runs in one game against Kansas City for Jason.
You know, it's hard to believe with a catcher like Carlton Fisk for a number of years with the Red Sox. Veritek's the first Red Sox catcher ever to hit 3 home runs in a game.
Another strikeout for Mendoza. 3 in a row.
Here's a look at a good moving fastball. Moving away from, that was kind of a Rusty Gage type of swing.
We asked Joe Torre what he expected from Ramiro Mendoza tonight and how he's feeling.
When he pitched in Seattle, gave us that length in Seattle where he threw about 70-plus pitches. He was sore, but it was the normal soreness. You know, I think it concerned him a little bit initially, but then it disappeared. You know, so I mean that's a good sign. Where he was tested that day, and he responded real well to it.
Ball and a strike to Valentin. Just to explain the normal soreness, what a pitcher likes after he's pitched is if your arm feels like it's bruised, or maybe like it's been in an old wash machine wringer, kind of wrung out. Curve is a bit high. It's 2-1. But what you don't want is when you go to brush your teeth or scratch your back and it burns, like in the elbow or the shoulder, or you got a little bite in it. That's the soreness you don't want. But the normal soreness is just like it's bruised. Ground ball to Brocious. To Martinez in time. Mendoza has set down 4 in a row, 3 on strikeouts, and we head to the bottom of the second. Good pitching duel so far. Yankee Baseball brought to you in part by BMW. Stop dreaming, start driving, the ultimate driving machine. And by Hertz, the world's #1 in car rental. Bernie Williams, who hit a home run off the #1 in pitching, Pedro Martinez. And that's how the Yankees were able to beat Pedro a couple of weeks ago, 2-1. And shut them out 5 days ago at Fenway.
Bernie has one of the 2 that Pedro's given up this year.
And that one's hit well out to right center. It looks like he's got another one. And he does. 1-0 Yankees on Bernie Williams' 7th home run.
I should have said he has 2 of the 3 that Pedro's given up this year.
Bernie
Bernie has been red hot. Bernie is now 11 for his last 21. Got a fastball up, out over the plate. This is kind of the same spot where he hit the one in the prior game here at Yankee Stadium against Pedro Martinez. Well, he's got 2 of the 3 home runs that Pedro Martinez has allowed this season.
And here's Martinez versus Martinez, strike one. Sometimes a pitcher will do that. You've hit a home run on a high fastball, and he'll say, well, I'm not afraid to throw you that pitch again. Bernie was ready again.
That pitch, last pitch to Tino, was 97.
Popped up left side. Hillenbrand, Valentin, Manny Ramirez, and Manny, first start in left field, puts it away, 1 away in the Yankees second.
And when you haven't played in the outfield for a while, you want that first one to be a relatively easy fly ball. That was not an easy chance for Ramirez. Had to come a long way, but he was the only one who really had a chance to make the catch. A little Pete Rose there at the end, kind of a spread in the hands. Ricky Henderson made the play.
Here's Henry Rodriguez in his first start of the year. And he has to do it against his former teammate. They were teammates in Montreal for a short time.
Well, he's got semi-numbers against Pedro, 2 for 6. They were also teammates with the Dodgers when they both started out.
Another breaking ball, 2-0. Probably know each other quite well from their Dominican days. Off-speed pitch, 2-1. Probably heard in the background the significance of that run.
And Pedro with that change-up that we talked about that in the open, that went down and away from Rodriguez.
That one a fastball, fouled out of play, 2-2. The first run the Yankees have scored off Pedro in 12 innings. And Bernie's got 2 of them. Be interesting to see his next at-bat, what Pedro goes at him with. Besides maybe a little chin music. Breaking pitch, fouled at the plate, still 2-2.
Yeah, well, you know, pitchers have a tendency sometimes to do that, but you know, Pedro has a lot of pride. I mean, he feels like, you know, Bernie just got him that time.
Oh, yeah. But I think the fact that Bernie's swinging the bat so well and has been aggressive on the fastball, like that, good high fastball. Rodriguez down on strikes. He's fanned 3, and there's a 2-away in the second.
If I'm a hitter and a pitcher comes close to me, I get even more aggressive.
Well, he might, but I think this is our pitching matchup brought to you by New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit. That's Pedro's career against the Yankees. Don't be deceived by that 6.5 record. The earned run average down 2.3, and Mendoza game over 500 against the Red Sox. And here's a guy who has hit Pedro quite well. Not many can say that. Scott Brocious. Pedro must know it, too. Threw him a curveball out of the strike zone for a ball. Scott with 1 home run and his average over 300. And that's with better than 30 at-bats, so there's a little history there. That's in for a strike. Of course, we saw how Scott can turn on a fastball. I think Trevor Hoffman found that out in the '98 World Series from San Diego.
You're right. Not too many guys have decent numbers against Pedro Martinez.
Reaches, pokes it down the right field line. Nixon can't get it, but it's foul.
Okay, we got a graphic on the guys who have hit Pedro well in the past. Marquis Grissom, a former teammate. Luis Lopez, pretty good numbers, 2 home runs in his 4 hits. Brian Clefko with 4 home runs off of Pedro, Mark Grace, and Eric Karros. Now, one thing all these hitters have in common, they're in the National League. They hit Pedro earlier in his career. So.
That's a good point. He's a much better and more dominant pitcher now. Yeah, there's the... See, that's what I expect Bernie might get. I mean, it wasn't at the head. It was just a I know you're swinging the bat well. You reach for a pitch outside, and I just want to make you hit with loose ankles.
Well, you know, like I said, some hitters get even more aggressive. They want to hit that next one 50 miles. Ooh. They won't hit that one 50 miles.
Backed it up with another one.
You know, all this comes about because Brocious hit a pitch out here down the right field line. Just foul. So Pedro says, well, if you're going to go out there, you're going to be a little more tentative the next time.
Which is where this next one will probably be, low and away. No. Got him. Pedro Martinez blows it past Brocious. 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, but Bernie Williams touched him up for a home run, and as a result, the Yankees, after 2, lead it 1-0. Yankees, all the attention on Pedro Martinez and the Red Sox and Mendoza, but right after this game, Cal Ripken and the Orioles have come to the stadium for 3 games. The Orioles have been really playing good baseball. Great credit to Mike Hargrove and his staff. Each night, game time starts 7:05. You can get your tickets at the stadium ticket window, the clubhouse stores, Ticketmaster, or Ticketmaster.com.
And, of course, tomorrow night it will be Mike Messina against Jason Johnson. There's Hall of Fame football player Howie Long in attendance tonight, wearing a 61 hat.
Must be some production meetings in town.
Brian Delbach leads it off for the Red Sox here at the top of the 3rd. He takes a pitch for a called strike. Delbach's numbers: 8 home runs, 23 RBI. Kind of an extra base hit machine. Pitches up high for a ball. It's 1-1.
He had a good April, then he tailed off, and he's been hitting well lately again.
He had a big double against Mike Messina up at Fenway Park in the game that Pedro and Messina hooked up. The Red Sox won 3-0. Delbach drove in 2 runs. Pitch is fouled off, and it's 1-2. Ramiro Mendoza in his first start since June 24th of last year at Chicago. Of course, he had the season-ending shoulder surgery, and the Yankees have been very careful with him out in the bullpen. He hasn't been able to pitch back-to-back days this year. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ramiro Mendoza with 4 strikeouts in the early going here.
And it's done with movement. This is upstairs, and it's similar to Veritek's at bat. It looks like it's going to catch a part of the plate, but that good late movement takes it off the plate.
Shea Hillenbrand, the young third baseman, the rookie for the Red Sox, batting in the 9th spot tonight. He's only 2 for his last 21, so he's been dropped down to the last spot in the order. That's ball high for ball 1.
Kenny, I think one thing the Yankees are trying to do and will happen eventually, Chuck Knobloch is playing a rather deep left field. That's the top of the 1st inning, his positioning.
Hillenbrand rolls one foul near the home plate area.
And I think you mentioned it. You know, outfielders, they don't want it's embarrassing to have the ball hit over their head. But eventually pitchers, particularly when left-hand hitters are in the box, they like to see the left fielder play. The old pitcher's philosophy is, hey, if they hit it over your head, it's my fault. I don't want it to drop in front of you. And eventually I think you'll see Chuck begin to play several steps closer.
Hit on the ground and fair down the 3rd baseline. Hillenbrand will have an extra base hit. Rounding first and trots into 2nd. Knobloch gets it back in, and the Red Sox have their 2nd hit of the game. Both of them have been doubles off of Mendoza. So Hillenbrand's at 2nd with 1 down.
Well, this is where you'd expect this pitch to be hit down and in, and Brocious lost his footing. I doubt Scott could have gotten leather on. You see him look back at the dirt. His spikes didn't dig in. Gave right out from under him and down into left field for a double.
Comes up with a handful of mud. Top of the order, Jose Offerman, who popped out to 2nd to lead off the ball game. Take that pitch for a called strike. Offerman's been swinging a pretty good bat. He's hitting 22 of his last 24 games. His average stands at an even 300. One of those key at-bats. Switch hitter having a much better year this year. Last year he was plagued with injuries. On the corner, call strike 2. There are the 3 amigos, and for those of you who would like to listen to this game in Spanish, all you have to do is press the SAP button on your television. Armando, Beto, and Roberto. Fly ball towards left field. Knobloch is there and will make the catch for out number 2. And it appeared that Chuck was playing a little more shallow as Offman hit one off the end of the bat, and the catch was made.
Well, with a sinker baller like Mendoza and left-hand hitters, there are very few that drive the ball. When the ball's hit the left field, it has that kind of corkscrew spin, and it's not going to carry as far. So it's a big advantage to play the left-hand hitters in that opposite field. Much, several steps in paid off there.
I didn't like playing left field at the Yankee Stadium. I did it a few times. There's just too much room for me to cover.
Like a football field.
Yeah. Trot Nixon with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position picks a curveball for a called strike. Nixon rolled out to short, and Derek Jeter in the first inning. He's 0 for 1 on the evening. Hillenbrand at second with a 1-out double. A ball and a strike.
Mendoza keeps this up. He may buy himself an extra inning. I think the plan was 5 innings, 70-some pitches, but he's thrown so many first-pitch strikes and a lot of strikes that he's almost through the 3rd inning already.
Popped in the air towards left center field. Chuck Knobloch being held off by Bernie Williams. And Bernie will make the catch, and Mario Mendoza will retire the Red Sox without any damage here at the top of the 3rd inning. As we head to the bottom half of the inning, the Yankees lead by a score of 1-0. Looks like young brothers coexisting. One a Yankee fan, one a Red Sox fan, enjoying the game here on a beautiful night at the stadium. Pedro Martinez will work to Joe Oliver, as Oliver will lead it off for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, up 1-0. Swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 1. Oliver's playing his first game in 2 weeks.
That's when you say, I hope I call a good game tonight. If you've been off for 2 weeks and you got to look at Pedro.
Another fastball, swing and a miss, and quickly it's 0-2. I mean, Jorge Posada has caught 183 regular season games over the last 2 seasons. That's 85% of the Yankee games Posada has caught. Only one catcher has caught more games than he has. Pitches foul back as Oliver begins to catch up.
Pedro's read the scouting reports, too. He hadn't played in 2 weeks and saying this guy's a little rusty. He's thrown him 3 fastballs right down Broadway with plenty on him.
And the only catcher to catch more than Posada over that time is Jason Kendall of Pittsburgh, and he's playing the outfield. Ooh, way upstairs. Ball at 2 strikes.
One of the reasons Pedro throws so hard, you do it with, as you said, lightning in his arm, but watch the leg action. Once he plants his foot and then pivots actually around that front foot. He plants the foot, uses it like a post, and then the upper body comes through with such, almost like a buggy whip action.
Bob Gibson used to throw that way.
Exactly.
Ground ball slowly hit towards short. Valentin has it, unloads, and there's 1 down. So with 1 out, we'll go to our American Express quote book that came after the game on Wednesday. This is for Pedro Martinez. I don't believe in curses. Why don't we just wake up the Bambino? I'll have him face me, and maybe I'll drill him.
Well, you got to love that if you're a member of the Red Sox. I mean, when you've got that kind of stuff, you take a little arrogance to the mound anyway.
Oh, Yankee fans read that quote. 1 out, and Alfonso Soriano. Now, did the Babe point or not?
It'd be interesting if he pointed off Pedro where the next pitch would be, I'll guarantee you that. Stuff, guys.
Pitch is outside, ball 2. 2-0 to Soriano, who has now drawn 5 walks this season. He has blown Shea Hillenbrand right out of the water. Hillenbrand stuck on 2. The Red Sox rookie 3rd baseman. So the rookies come up and they're swinging the bat. And right now, Soriano should have a pretty good pitch to swing at with the count 2 balls and no strikes.
Yep.
There's a nasty hook. 2 balls and a strike. Soriano gave ground, and the ball darted over the plate.
Good pitchers, high and tight, low and away, and they get their breaking ball over when they're behind in the count. And that's what Pedro did.
Fastball is popped foul and out of play. 2-2. 6 years ago yesterday, Pedro Martinez pitched a game against the San Diego Padres. 9 perfect innings. Unfortunately, the Montreal Expos did not score for Pedro. They went to the to the 10th inning. The Expos did score. Pip Roberts led off with a double in the bottom of the 10th, and Mel Rojas came in to get the last 3 outs. Pitch is lifted foul down the right field side. So Mel Rojas, in relief of Pedro, who gave up 1 hit after pitching 9 perfect innings against San Diego. Pedro got the win. And Mel Rojas, yes, Mets fans, that Mel Rojas got the save. Knobloch is on deck. Two pitch on the way. Fastball hit in the air towards center field. Coming on quickly is Everett, and he won't get there. Picks it up on a hop as Soriano has blooped a single into center field, and the Yankees have their second hit and a speedy runner aboard.
Well, when a hitter takes a big swing and it's off the end of the bat, that's the time the outfielder usually, it takes him about a step or two to recognize how far the ball's coming out. Everett, just a hesitation, and that's all it took for the ball to drop in front of him.
So Soriano at first, Chuck Knobloch to the plate. Chuck led off the bottom of first by striking out. Chuck is 5 for his last 31. Throw over the first, and Soriano is back standing.
Well, you can just about imagine the Yankees are going to try to run at some point during this at-bat. They lead the majors with 64 steals, and when you get a base runner against Pedro, you try your best to take advantage of it.
Veritek has only thrown out 18% of the runners that have attempted to steal. Soriano with a good lead over at first. This time he has to dive back, which might be an indication he was thinking about going. Chuck, who had his average up to 352 at one time, is now down to 261 with this latest cold spell. Soriano with kind of an open stance as he leads towards second. Edge is high for ball 1. Willie Randolph flashing the signs for Chuck Knobloch down at third. And Derek Jeter is on deck. Yankees have a 1-0 lead on Pedro.
Tough to hit and run against a guy you're not confident of making contact against.
And Knobloch is, doesn't swing and miss very often. This is the guy that could make him do it. Long hold by Pedro. There goes Soriano. The pitch is fouled off. And it's a ball and a strike on Knobloch.
Well, another thing Pedro does so well, he varies the amount of time he holds the ball. See, his leg is already up, and of course this is a hit and run. Soriano wanted to make sure the ball was headed toward home before he got his jump. But when he goes over to first base, his footwork is so fast that a runner can't take his normal base stealing lead.
Veritek looking to the dugout for instruction. Soriano's going. The pitch is up and in for a ball. The throw to second is in plenty of time. So Jason Veritek throws out Soriano. Only the 5th time he's been caught in 22 attempts. That ball got to home plate in a hurry.
The catcher is only as good as how quickly the pitcher delivers it to him. And Martinez, after the long holding the ball for long counts, gave him the slide step. The quick delivery as Soriano had a very, very poor jump. They got him easily.
Now pitching from the windup. Knobloch hits one towards the right field corner. Nixon on the run and cannot get it. The ball is into the corner. Nixon has to get up and chase it. Knobloch is second. He's headed for third. The throw comes in and Chuck will hold the third with a 2-out triple. Once Nixon left his feet and couldn't get it, that was going to be a 3-base hit. So Knobloch to third with 2 outs. The Yankees' second hit of the inning against Pedro Martinez.
Nice effort by Nixon. The pitch is down where Chuck likes it, down and away. Here's the effort. You know, in a close game, late game situation, Nixon probably would have played it a little more conservatively. Just tried to get there and knock it down, but with 2 out, nobody on, makes the attempt, doesn't get it. Knobloch ends up at third.
Second triple of the year for Chuck Knobloch. He's at third base with Derek Jeter coming to the plate. Derek grounded to short. Is 0 for 1. Yankees trying to come up with some two-out magic against Pedro Martinez. That ball is inside for ball one. Jeter's kind of cooled off lately. He's 3 for his last 23. Still hitting over 300. Breaking ball outside, ball 2.
And Pedro, a little hesitation on that when he wanted that pitch. He thought that was right there.
One of the 9 hits went for the distance. Looked like a changeup, didn't it? 2 balls and a strike to Jeter. Pedro threw a 2-0 curveball to Soriano for a strike, and now drops a changeup on Derek Jeter with the same count. Two and two as Jeter chases a breaking ball.
4 pitches and unpredictable. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, occasional cutter. Now he throws you the breaking ball off the plate. Never really get comfortable with what's coming.
4 deuces will usually win you a poker hand. Let's see if they can score a run for the Yankees here. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Pedro Martinez. His 5th strikeout of the game. And he strikes out Jeter with a runner on third. Going to head to the 4th inning. This strikeout, the Yankees still have a 1-0 lead.
Back to the Bronx, Yankees lead 1-0. Mendoza matching Pedro pitch for pitch, but there's always an extra little buzz in the air when Pedro and the Red Sox come to town.
Oh, it's great, and I think we have a lot of fans who've come over from Washington Heights thinking about the Dominican heritage. We've got obviously the Yankee fans, but maybe the most surprising guy has been Ramiro Mendoza. It's pretty obvious that he came ready to pitch well tonight.
He doesn't do it with power like Pedro does, but he's got a lot of movement on his pitches.
He'll face Carl Everett, Manny Ramirez, and Troy O'Leary, the filet mignon of the Boston Red Sox batting order. Everett got a double in his first at-bat, and Mendoza promptly struck out Manny Ramirez to end the inning. And the curveball of Ramiro Mendoza tonight has really been something.
See Everett slap his hit. I mean, that's a pitch he would have liked to have swung at, a curve breaking into him. He was probably thinking changeup and took it.
That one's skied to left, but foul. You know, it's amazing, Jim, what a pitcher like Pedro does to the game. You get Alfonso Soriano to first base, and the feeling, and rightly so, is we got to get him to second base. We got to get him to second base. So you try to get him to second base. He's out. Knobloch then hits a triple, so you think, oh, man, if we didn't send him, but you can't think that way.
Right.
And then he gets out of it, even though Knobloch's at third. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Red Sox leading the Yankees by 2 in the American League East.
Paul O'Neill talked before the game about the effect of beating Pedro or getting beat by Pedro.
In there for a call strike 3, and it looked like Everett knew it. 5 strikeouts for Ramiro Mendoza.
Yeah, not the velocity of Pedro, but check out the movement on these pitches. There's a curve. Curve, foul, waste, and then look at the late movement right across the inside corner. Nice sequence.
Mendoza, the quiet man of the Yankees, got Manny Ramirez swinging in his last at-bat. We showed you the monster 491-foot home run to the roof of Skydome. Last time up. High foul ball.
Many Yankee fans know Ramiro's nickname El Brujo, and that is the witch doctor because of the way the ball moves. You know, a lot of teams questioning, is he loading it up? Is he cutting the baseball up because it's got so much movement on it? That's just his natural delivery. Some pitchers have it, some don't.
The Yankees have had special care for Ramiro Mendoza since having the shoulder surgery in the offseason. But he's pitched very economically so far. On the average this year, 14 pitches an inning. Well hit by Ramirez toward the left center field gap. It'll bounce up for Bernie Williams. again. He takes a wide turn at first and stumbles, but there is no throw. So a well-hit single by Manny Ramirez. It's time now to hear from the Duck people, the Aflac Trivia Quiz. Who was the last player to hit 35 home runs en route to a World Series championship? This is some kind of question.
Well, what it points out is that you think, well, if you get a home run hitter, you're going to win the World Series. There are very few teams that win a World Series with guys that hit 70 like Mark McGwire, big numbers. And the answer to that question will bear that out.
Ground ball foul. I can see Dusty Baker now running to Barry Bonds at the end of the dugout. Stop. Right. Don't hit another one.
Hit some singles. Back to Paul O'Neill's comment. Paul was saying, you know, if you beat Pedro, it just gives the team a big lift because it's kind of an unexpected win. And yet if you lose, it's not quite as devastating because everybody says when Pedro pitches, he's going to win anyway.
Tip your cap. To right field and pretty deep. Back goes O'Neill. The Red Sox have the lead. Troy O'Leary with home run number 4. Mendoza rolling along until the 4th. Big smile from the Red Sox hitting coach, Rick Down.
3 hitters in the Red Sox lineup hitting over 400, and O'Leary one up against Mendoza, that is, and they're all good low ball hitters.
That ball was way outside. O'Leary actually let go of the bottom hand and still had enough lead hand power to pull that over the wall. So it's 2-1 Boston. So much energy in the stadium tonight on both sides. Jason Varitek, a well-hit ball. That gets past Bernie Williams. And a one-out double. The Red Sox rolling here in the top of the 4th inning. It is amazing sometimes how trends in baseball are what they are. Leadoff man gets on, it's usually a run. Second time through the batting order.
Well, and that pitch was up, but it did not have it didn't have the good biting movement. You see it from back of home plate, just kind of a mediocre fastball slid across the middle of the plate. Varitek took advantage of it. And you're right. I think you see Mendoza a couple of times, and his control has to be good. He has to be down and around the edges of the strike zone.
Now the hitter is John Valentin, getting a ton of playing time at shortstop with the injury to Nomar Garciaparra, and not taking advantage of it at all. He's hitting only 173 with 1 home run and 4 RBIs. Compare that to what the Red Sox would normally get from Garciaparra at that position, and you wonder how good the Red Sox would have been. There's another base hit to right field. O'Neill gets a big bounce, comes up throwing, and they'll hold the runner Varitek at 3rd.
Going to make a trip out to the mound. They'll probably have to get somebody up. And one thing I've noticed in this inning that Mendoza has not done versus the first 3, I think we'll see Joe Oliver go to it right now. You know, he threw so many good changeups the first 3 innings. And now this inning, every pitch, unless they're changeups that he just is throwing too hard, but everything has been kind of a mediocre sinker up in the strike zone. Sinker ball pitchers have to live down around the knees. I think right now we might see Joe in this situation to go back to that changeup. There's the pitch to O'Leary, and you see that moved over the middle of the plate. Mendoza would like to see that down and away.
Here comes the man in the weird beard, Brian Daubach. Daubach struck out in his first look at Ramiro Mendoza. But all these guys who have done the damage here, or 3 out of the 4 of them, were struck out in their last time up. Ramirez struck out, O'Leary struck out, Varitek struck out, and they have all gained revenge in this second time up. Big block by Joe Oliver. 1 ball and no strikes.
That was was the changeup, and those stats don't show up in the box score, but Joe Oliver just saved a run right there. Red Sox would be up 3-1 and a man on second as a result of that play. Double play is still in order.
This is a crucial situation in the game when you consider who's on the mound for Boston. One of those times when you would hope Ramiro Mendoza, while he's really been a strikeout pitcher tonight, would get you one of those 4.63ers or 6.43ers and get out of the inning.
And as a pitcher, right now you can't think about facing Pedro Martinez. You're facing Brian Daubach. You can't really control what Pedro does. The only thing you can control is what you do and try to keep the damage down to a minimum.
Fly ball to the upper deck.
Good sequence. Threw him 2 changeups. Now a fastball that he was late on. So if you're a veteran catcher like Joe Oliver, you're saying, well, a fastball up and in might be a strikeout, but another changeup might get you a double play ball. Let's see what he goes with.
Because he's trying to speed up his bat after being late.
Well, no, if you're going to throw something off speed, you want it real slow.
Got him exactly that way. Were you a pitcher?
Part-time.
You seem to have a very good feel for this. Daubach struck out for the second time tonight.
I'll tell you, it's nice to have a veteran catcher like Oliver back there. We know Posada's the regular, does a great job, but in limited duty, he's got 6 of them already. You know, Joe is making Ramiro use all of his pitches. He's not afraid to back up a curve with another curve.
And there is a chant of 1918 going up here at the stadium. Ground ball, puff hop for Brocious. In time, and Ramiro Mendoza gets 2 huge outs. He gives up the home run, but with runners at first and third, he knuckled down. Troy O'Leary has given Boston a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. New York Yankees baseball at twilight, brought to us in part by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. Al Trautwig and Jim Cott, twinkle of lights from the Triborough Bridge, where I hope they're finally nearing the end of the construction. Oh my goodness. Anyway, the Yankees constructed a 1-0 lead. Troy O'Leary took it away as Paul O'Neill faces Pedro Martinez in the bottom of the 4th. Oh, the pop and the sound of Jason Varitek's glove is pronounced. When Derek Jeter struck out to end the last inning, Pedro Martinez was clocked at 98 miles an hour. Bernie Williams' home run had given the Yankees the early lead. O'Neill hitting only .256, 10 home runs, 32 RBIs.
3 times the Yankee hitter has had a 2-0 count. You expect he might get a fastball. 2 changes and a curve, all for strikes in perfect positions. That's a great combination of power and control.
Comes up and in, and O'Neill fouls it back, so the count is even.
There's only one other pitcher that has averaged over 10 strikeouts a game and less than 2 walks per game in a season. And that's who you'll start comparing Pedro to if he strings another year or 2 together like this, and that's Koufax.
And Scott Brocious, one of those Yankees who has pretty good numbers against this 2001 version of Sandy Koufax.
I think the greatest display of power and control is Fergie Jenkins. He's the only pitcher with more than 3,000 strikeouts, less than 1,000 walks. Pedro's on a pace right now. He's got 1,900 Ks. A few more years, he may better that.
O'Neill goes 2-0, and Pedro Martinez just comes flying back. 6 strikeouts for Pedro.
Gets his off-speed pitch when he's behind in the count, and most of the strikeouts have come on 2-strike fastballs.
Pedro Martinez has seen Bernie Williams do something twice. May 24th, the Yankees beat him 2-1. Then Pedro Martinez put 12 consecutive scoreless innings against the Yankees until this, Bernie's first at bat tonight. First pitch of the inning. Fastball, strike one, back live. What a feeling it must be on a night when all of the hitters on the team are thinking about somehow, some way, doing something against this guy, and then you hit a home run, and you get back to the dugout. Wow.
I don't think he's going to see that fastball middle of the plate in anymore unless it's well off the plate. First pitch was the breaking pitch down and in, and that one was out away from him.
And a lot like Roger Clemens, the moment something happens like that home run ball out of the ballpark, Pedro's first reaction is, give me the ball, give me the ball,
oh, yeah.
Give me a ball. Bernie tap dances out of the way. The one thing we saw in Pedro Martinez's last start is when he was angry about hearing about the Babe and all that stuff and the Yankee domination in 1918. He went out through 13 strikeouts. Some guys, if they got themselves all pumped up, wouldn't be able to do that. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Another hitting count, another off-speed pitch. Rocket pitches Thursday. That's a good matchup. Sidney Ponson for the Orioles. Orioles playing good baseball.
Up, maybe playable. Drawback game. Barachek says he's got it in front of the Yankee dugout. He does, 2-away. Okay, Yankee fans, let's go back to the Aflac Trivia Quiz. This is a beauty. The Aflac Trivia Quiz, who was the last player on any team to hit 35 home runs en route to a World Series championship? Well, he went bye-bye many times that year. Steve Balboni.
Bye-bye Balboni. And that question came to my mind courtesy of John McGrath of the Tacoma paper covering the Mariners.
Of course, Steve had one of those all-time all-or-nothing years. He hit 229 and 36 for home runs.
Yeah, he never approached that again. But McGrath's article pointing out with the Mariners how you don't have to hit the long ball to win a championship.
Just off the plate, 1-1 to Tino Martinez. Martinez flied to left in his first time up. Since it was the first attempt of the game for Manny Ramirez in left, it's the first ever fly ball Manny's ever caught in left field in a game. He's never played left field before tonight. Martinez, tough play, right between third and short. Sort of a seeing eye hit for Tino Martinez. It comes, though, with 2 outs.
Off-speed pitch into the bat. Nice effort by Hillenbrand. I think that kind of shielded Valentin. Would have been a tough play for John anyway. He had to short hop it on that backhand side. Just a well-placed little sinking liner for Tino.
Valentin did get a glove on it, though. Flicked off the leather. It's Henry Rodriguez, who has not looked good as a Yankee at all. He has had 5 at-bats, and 4 times he has struck out. The Yankees invested a $1.5 million contract on Henry, being able to provide them sort of the same thing that a Darryl Strawberry or a Chili Davis could give them off the bench. Power in a big spot late inning game, but it has not worked out yet.
Yankee bench right now kind of one-dimensional. They really miss Clay Bellinger. You know, the option situation with Michael Coleman meant Bellinger, who was so versatile, had to go back to the minor leagues. You know, Clay provides an extra defensive outfielder. He can pinch run. He can back up catch if he has to. But now you got Coleman, Perez, Henry Rodriguez. They swing the bat but that's about where it ends.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Joe Torre has hinted that Shane Spencer is looking better, getting close.
Now this is that time of the year, third of the way through the year. They're 2 games back. A team like Brian Cashman and his scouting staff and Joe Torre, they evaluate what do the Yankees need, and in the next 2 weeks, whatever they do need, you can expect to see it here in the Bronx.
6 at-bats, 5 strikeouts for Henry Rodriguez. Pedro Martinez has K'd him twice, through 4. The Red Sox lead it 2-1.
Fans, New York Yankee Baseball is brought to you in part by Heineken. It's all about the beer, Heineken. And by your Tri-State Jeep dealer. Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth.
Ken Singleton in for the 5th inning. Jim Cott has it off. Rich Kotite, the one-time coach of the New York Jets. Well, that was a season to forget. Anyway, he's here watching Yankees Red Sox tonight. Ramiro Mendoza throwing pitch number 61 for strike 1, and that could mean this is it for Ramiro Mendoza. 5 innings. He's been averaging 15 pitches per inning, right on target. And he would have been 1 inning better had he not had so much trouble back in the 4th, you know.
I heard you and Giddy mention the second time around, and I think for Mendoza, when you look at his pitching this year in particular, they usually say it takes a year for pitchers to really get going again. You know, he's healthy enough to pitch, but he won't be as strong until next year.
Look at that. Opperman caught looking. 7 strikeouts for Ramiro Mendoza. So in that regard, he has matched Pedro Martinez.
Here's a look at the movement on that fastball that drops in there for call strike 3. We talked about Mendoza's nickname El Brujo because he can make the ball do so many things. It means the witch doctor in Spanish.
Now Trot Nixon. So Kenny, remember when we were up in Boston when we've had that food thing going lately, and we had that New England clam chowder?
It was tremendous.
It was tremendous from Legal Seafoods, the best. Well, tonight we got to thank Chris Vecchiarelli and Diane Gagliardo, who imported some more clam chowder for us from Paramus, New Jersey.
And it was very good again.
Oh, it was awesome. So it gave us a little taste of New England here in the Bronx. Very Scooter-like. 3-0 to Trot Nixon.
Mendoza has done all this pitching tonight, 7 strikeouts without a walk, so he still has that impeccable control. Until that one.
So the walk with 1 out to Trot Nixon, and it's going to be very interesting to see how strict Joe Torre is with the 75 pitch limit. It's sort of the number he's used ever since Ramiro Mendoza rejoined the team off of surgery. Hey, you may want to check out msgnetwork.com. I'm there.
The buyer beware. Now, what's that about, Al?
It's about making the right choices for where you get your sports information and news in this complex and crowded world of media. Now, Carl Everett. Michael Kay also on with his infamous hit and runs. Here's a majestic fly ball, and I mean this is a blast. Way up in the bleachers. Oh, man, Carl Everett with home run number 7. And the Sox lead it 4-1. That is one of the farthest balls we have seen in recent memory hit up in the bleachers in right center field. Have you seen one hit here further than that?
No, we saw Manny Ramirez's home run at Skydome. Carl Everett also hit a long one at Skydome, and now he's returned to favor the Yankee Stadium. This ball had the sound as soon as he hit it. And Bernie Williams is the last one to see it alive.
Thank you. And now with Pedro Martinez on the mound, the Red Sox are looking good. Big swing by Manny Ramirez. He struck out in the 1st. Got revenge with a hard hit single to center field in the 4th.
last time we saw Manny Ramirez in Boston, he was somewhat on a cool streak as Everett's going to settle down in the dugout and said, yep, I hit that one pretty good. But he has gotten hot again. He hit 3 home runs in the series in Toronto in the 4 games. And Everett hit one up near the restaurant. It landed in somebody's soup.
That could get messy. Ramirez fouls one back. It's now no balls and 2 strikes. That was pitch number 71 for Ramiro Mendoza. I mean, I'm just wondering, if does he hit 75? And at that moment, does Joe come out? There are 2 pitchers warming up in the Yankee bullpen. And Everett, a one-time member of the Yankees organization, might have looked up toward the front office windows here at the stadium and said, could have been doing that for you. Randy Choate, Carlos Almanzar. Almanzar came into yesterday's ball game. And Ramiro Mendoza still has the stuff to strike out Manny Ramirez on 3 pitches. 8 strikeouts. Every starter the Yankee has is becoming a strikeout pitcher, it seems. And right on cue, Joe Torre comes out of the dugout. 8 strikeouts will tie Ramiro Mendoza's career high. Oh, it is his career high. Thank you. And that is it. At times dominating. Very impressive tonight, Ramiro Mendoza. Out of the pen or starting. So now this game could change as the Red Sox get into the Yankee bullpen.
Mommy, try one time. Mommy, come. No. Come, hold my hand and come.
With a little expert advice from us, this working mom is protecting 3 generations of people she loves. All through her benefits plan at work.
You know, you never know when you're going to get injured and miss work. That's why I have that supplemental insurance.
What supplemental insurance? Aflac.
It's one that pays you cash for things like lost pay and other expenses. What one?
Aflac.
Just ask about it at work, right? What did you say it was?
Aflac! Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Dreyfus presents a continued tradition of tax-smart investment solutions to defend what's yours. The power of you, your advisor, and Dreyfus.
Ramiro Mendoza has 2 pitches he'd love to have back. One to Troy O'Leary and one to that man, Carl Everett, with a booming blast.
This is the other night at Sky Dome, and Everett hits a home run batting left-handed against Dan Plesac. Lefty on lefty. Now, Everett's a switch hitter. You wonder why he wasn't batting right-handed. Plesac had gotten him out the previous night batting right-handed, so Everett hit left-handed and hit a tremendous home run off of it.
And you weren't kidding. That almost did go in somebody's soup. Here's Randy Choate making appearance number 12. He's only given up 5 hits in 13 1/3. And he has had some shining moments this season. Well, Joe Torre will want him to go a little while here tonight. He'll face Troy O'Leary with the bases empty and 2 away.
Here's a chance for Randy Choate to prove to Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre that he is more than just a situational guy, that he, can face more hitters than just the lefty he's going to face here in O'Leary. Yep, he's checking with the umpire, Dan Morrison. Was that a strike? And he said, yeah, after you swung at it.
David Cohn's last outing was pretty good. There's another long ball, but it's foul. I think David Cohn's got to do that 3, 4, 5 times in a row before anybody thinks he's out of the woods. Both at one-time Mets. amazing when you look at the size of this crowd tonight that this many people could have had a Tuesday night off only to have that changed by the rain and then have a Monday off 2 weeks later.
Well, you figure all those people kept the tickets, the rain checks, just in case they found out when this game was going to be played. And of course, they didn't know Pedro Martinez was going to be pitching.
They got lucky in that regard.
They did.
2 balls and 2 strikes to O'Leary. Yankees headed to a third straight 3 million attendance year. Joe taking a lot of time stepping off the rubber. When the Yankees did that, they hit the 3 million mark for the first time to begin this string 2 seasons ago. The 2-2. And the count goes full.
The Yankees are actually averaging the highest attendance in the league. Just over 39,000 a game. A little bit more than Seattle and Cleveland.
Got him. Randy Cho strikes out Troy O'Leary and does the job, but Carl Everett gives the Boston Red Sox a 3-run lead. Kaboom at Yankee Stadium.
Even though we just turned 60, we're still climbing mountains, trekking through forests, and playing in the mud. And now we're celebrating that heritage during the Jeep Anniversary event. Get a $2,000 cash allowance when you buy an ever-capable Jeep Grand Cherokee. Or take advantage of low 0.9% APR financing. So come celebrate our great past. It'll make for an exciting future. Get a $2,000 cash allowance or 0.9% financing today.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
Spreading the love, my friend. Just spreading the love. Get a medium Coke free when you buy a delicious new 5-piece Mighty Wings at McDonald's. It's terrific chicken. It's a terrific deal. I can feel the love.
Like most companies, you depend on Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, and hundreds of other software packages. Which is why you need a Sybase Enterprise Portal, the smart way to integrate your business apps on the web. Sybase. Information anywhere.
To create exceptional performance. Design technology. Kumho.
Back at Yankee Stadium, Mike Stanton having a dialogue with somebody in the Yankee bullpen, and interleague play is soon to be upon us, and today Yankee pitchers took their swings.
From what I understand, the hero of the day was Mike Stanton, although you're going to see the Rocket take some pretty good swings here. Mike Stanton hit one in the upper deck in right field.
Wow.
Yeah, that's showing me something.
An upper deck shot by Mike Stanton. Scott Brocious against Pedro Martinez, then Joe Oliver and Alfonso Soriano. Hey, I asked Andy Pettit tonight of Yankee Mets games that have been played over the years, what's his greatest memory? He said getting to hit. That's how much that meant to him.
You know, pitchers don't hit much in the minor leagues either. Most organizations would rather have one of their own hitters learning how to hit a little more, and they use the DHs.
Brocious fouls it up. Plus, we saw Roger Clemens there.
First at bat for Scott Brocious came in the second inning. We were able to look at the sequence of pitches. Breaking ball, he went too far for a strike. Fastball in there, strike 2. Another fastball, loop down the line, foul. Then he comes in up and in, ball 1. This next one's going to be up and in, too, to keep him away from the onside corner. Then Pedro says enough's enough and strikes him out.
Brocious fouls another one back.
This is where you don't want to be when you're facing. For me, years ago, this would have been 0-2 against Nolan Ryan. I didn't want to be in an 0-2 situation.
Set up inside, up and in. Rocha swings and misses. 8 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez.
Second time in a row, he's got him on a high fastball up and in, and Rocha's back to the dugout. The trip I took over 1,200 times.
That's a number you got to get out of your system.
Well, I walked more than I struck out, though.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Joe Oliver grounded out in his first look at Pedro Martinez. So, Kenny, what were you doing? You were totaling up the strikeouts between the Boston pitching staff and the Yankee pitching staff, and you found what?
Well, right now, both pitching staffs are still tied for the lead.
Dead tied. 8
strikeouts apiece. Well, make that 9. The Yankees have 9 because Choate struck out O'Leary.
May be playable. Not a lot of foul territory. Varitek to the Yankee dugout. Makes an amazing catch going around the pole. Full extension by Jason Varitek. That was special.
Well, he's not going to get much help as the Yankee bench is going to kind of back away. Varitek makes the play and hangs on. I mean, a couple of years ago, he couldn't have done that because the railing was not there in front of the dugout.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he makes the play, and he noticed he didn't get much help. In his own dugout, they all would have been over there to keep him from falling down, but Varitek makes a tremendous play for out number 2. Yet the Yankees do lead the Red Sox staff by 1 strikeout.
Alfonso Soriano swings at the first pitch. Coming on is Trot Nixon, going out as Jose Offerman. Nixon calls him off and makes the catch. So 1-2-3 inning for Pedro Martinez. He leads it 4-1 as we go to the 6th. See you on the post game. Let's go to the MSG Sports Desk at the Garden.
Thanks, Al. Devils and Avalanche playing Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The series all tied up at 2. They're in Colorado tonight. The game is tied at 1-1. They're in the first period. Following the game broadcast on ABC, make sure you come to MSG for the Devils post-game show. Chico Resch joins me at the sports desk with Matt Laughlin, Stan Fischler, and Doc Emmerich in Denver. The Devils post-game show later tonight right here on MSG. Cleveland Indians and Minnesota Twins in their latest battle for the AL Central lead. The Indians with the early lead in that ball game, 2-0. Take a look at what happened earlier at the Metrodome. Robbie Alomar, he's batting against Joe Mays, and he launches a missile way up there off the facing of the football press box. It's 2-0 Cleveland. That ball game's in the first inning. We'll be back to tell you about what's coming up on the late edition of Sports Desk following these commercial messages.
I'm thinking of starting my own business.
Good for you, Jim. You gonna use Fleet Office Link?
Oh, yeah. Well, what's that again?
It helps you run your small business. You can see your cash position and see whose checks have cleared. It makes it easy to manage your business's money.
Wait a minute, you have a small business?
Actually, it's a charitable foundation.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna start a foundation, too, you know. Probably gonna be looking for some board members.
Later tonight on Sports Desk, we'll tell you about Larry Robinson and his Devils in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup. And minicamp for the Giants, first of 4 days. We'll tell you who didn't show up. And, of course, later on tonight, we'll tell you about the big battle in the Bronx with the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Liberty here at the Garden, and Andre Agassi at the French Open, all tonight after the Yankees on MSG. Now back to the Bronx.
A view of Manhattan from the Bronx. The Red Sox leading the Yankees 4-1 as we go to the top of the 6th. And our New York Marriott Marquee matchup. Of course, that's Broadway's biggest hit. Pedro Martinez, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. Hadn't walked anybody. Ramiro Mendoza in 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He did strike out a career-high 8, and he walked 1. Brandon Knight, the newest of the Yankee pitchers, is warming up in the bullpen. Randy Choate will face Jason Varitek. Jim Cottager joined me here in the top of the 6th inning. And first pitch is inside for ball 1.
Well, that's some play Varitek made.
Ooh, man.
You know, the visiting dugout, for him, the visiting dugout, you're not going to get any help going in there.
He hung with it. He's 1 for 2 on the night with a double and a strikeout. Swings and fouls this back. Randy Choate faced O'Leary, struck him out to end the Red Sox half of the 5th inning.
Well, who's that a good sign for? Pitchers or the hitters? It's a good sign for our director. He loves that shot.
Pitches it for a strike. It looks like the opening of one of those scary movies. 1-2 on Veritek, who wasn't afraid to go into the Yankee dugout and make that play. Off-speed pitch is popped in the air to right field for Paul O'Neill. He's there and makes the catch, out number 1. Well, the Yankees will continue the homestand as the Baltimore Orioles will come to town, and on Wednesday night they'll play game 2 of the series as the Yankees will face the up-and-coming Baltimore Orioles, who've been playing some pretty good baseball and have moved ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays in the Eastern Division.
They're only 4 wins behind the Yankees.
It's
4 or 5.
John Valentin will come to the plate. And he takes a pitch high and away for ball 1.
We'll have that game on MSG. That'll be Ted Lilly and Jose Mercedes, who is 1-7, but I think he's, as they say, pitched a little bit better than his 1-7 record.
He was the Orioles' top winner a year ago. 1-0 pitch is hit high in the air to left field. Chuck Knobloch still coming on, and there's 2 down.
You got, as a hitter, of course, you're a switch hitter, so you never looked at that from a right-hander, but you got to adjust your eyeballs in this game. Here you face Mendoza coming about 3/4 side from the left, and then here's Randy Choate coming from underhand on the left side with ball coming in at an entirely different angle.
This should be the adjustment for Brian Daubach, who has struck out twice against Mendoza. And now he gets to face Randy Choate. Little breaking ball, and it's strike 1. I like the way the hitters always check with the umpire. Was that a strike?
Yeah, the umpire says, yeah, you swung at it, didn't you?
Daubach, of his 35 hits this year, 19 of them have been for extra bases. Another curve, and that's a strike, 0-2.
He's still a nice story, Daubach, all those years in the minor leagues. He was actually T.J. Matthews, the right-hand pitcher for the Oakland A's. He was his catcher in Belleville, Illinois in high school.
And Daubach was in the Mets organization, if I'm not mistaken, and didn't get much of a chance. Wouldn't change the high fastball, and it's 1-2. Red Sox up by a score of 4-1. They scored 2 in the 4th to erase a 1-0 Yankee lead and added 2 more in the 5th. Shea Hillenbrand is on deck, the rookie third baseman. Randy Choate out of Florida State University. College World Series is about to start. Couldn't get the breaking ball over to hit Daubach. So the Red Sox first baseman will head to first. And the right-handed hitting Hillenbrand will come to the plate.
That was Randy Choate's low point in Fenway Park earlier in the year when, I mean, he could not get a ball anywhere near the strike zone. He's had some good appearances since then, but that was a breaking ball, just kind of slipped out. He's always got, you know, he pitches like he's got a burr under his saddle or a stone in his shoe, which is a good attitude to take to the mound. And he keeps that game face on for all 9 innings. But if you see Pedro on the days he doesn't pitch, he's as loose as ashes.
Oh, he is happy-go-lucky, to say the least. But tonight it's all business. Hillenbrand to the plate with 2 down. Swings at the first pitch and drives it foul down the right field line, strike 1. Hillenbrand is, I mean, this guy played at Trenton last year. He was the Red Sox minor league player of the year. Had a great year in Double-A. Red Sox in spring training really didn't have a third baseman. Valentin was out. Garcia Parra left with an injury.
Interesting to watch Shea run if he hits the ball. He's got a little different gait, and one of the reasons for that, I think, he's a world-class soccer player. He could have been a pro soccer player. You know, those guys kind of run down the field on their toes for getting ready to kick that ball.
Off-speed pitch, again fouled off, 0-2. has made a name for himself by swinging the bat. Came into the night hitting .280. Well, he's been cooled off somewhat of late. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He's 3 for his last 23. But the young third baseman has only walked twice all season long. Hit this one hard, a tough souvenir down the right field line. Still 0-2. Top of the order, and Jose Offerman on deck. Randy Cho trying to nail down the Red Sox here in the top of the 6th. And turn it over to the Yankee bats in the top of the order in the bottom of the inning. Daubach at first with 2 down. Ground ball, broken bat right back to the pitcher. Cho turns, throws the first, and that'll do it for the Red Sox here in the top of the 6th inning. They leave a runner against Randy Cho, but do not score. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Chuck Knobloch will lead it off for the Yanks.
From the producer of Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and The Matrix comes Swordfish, this summer's biggest action movie, featuring John Travolta. Hey, is that a Heineken? Oh, what a great job this guy's got. Oh, sorry. Featuring John Travolta, Hugh Jackman, and Halle Berry. Once you know the password, you can go anywhere. Catch Heineken and Swordfish in theaters June 8th.
Get surrounded by savings. It's the all-around sale at the Wiz with great deals all around in every department store-wide. So many sale prices, there's just no getting around them. Take home a Sony 53-inch projection TV for just $17.99. Get this Iowa shelf system for just $149.99. Or pick up a powerful compact computer and start speed surfing the net for as low as $699.99. Here, there, and everywhere savings. The all-around sale at the Wiz. Get it right at the Wiz.
Even though we just turned 60, we're still climbing mountains, trekking through forests, and playing in the mud. And now we're celebrating that heritage during the Jeep Anniversary event. Get a $1,000 cash allowance and 0.9% APR financing when you buy a Cherokee Sport. Or get into the fun-loving Jeep Wrangler starting at under 15 grand. So come celebrate our great past. It'll make for an exciting future. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
Because I failed to upgrade to digital, we're broke. What? Rather than resign, I've hired a professional scapegoat. Thank you, thank you. Yes, it was all my fault.
If business were that easy, you wouldn't need us. Update your office technology with Canon Business Solutions.
Back at the stadium, bottom of the 6th, top of the order for the Yankees, Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill against Pedro Martinez, who so far has held the Yankees to a run on 4 hits and struck out 8 in 5 innings. First pitch, grounded. Nice stop by the third baseman Hillenbrand from his knees. Not in time. Knobloch gets an infield single. The rookie third baseman almost turned in a heck of a play.
Boy, that was a great play on both ends. It starts here, and here it shows you Shea Hillenbrand's athletic skills. The tough part is getting to your knees. And Daubach made a great play. I think the only reason Knobloch was safe is it just pulled Daubach's foot off the bag by inches. You see there his foot right there, about 2 inches off the bag. That's a great play by Hillenbrand and Daubach.
So now the third baseman is thinking of a double play and the possibility of with Derek Jeter coming to the plate. Derek's grounded out and struck out. 0 for 2. Knobloch at first, among the league leaders in stealing bases with 18. Pedro with a long set and delivers. Jeter swings and misses strike 1.
First 2 at-bats by Derek Jeter. Hit that sharply right to Valentin. Then his second at-bat, and a lot of Pedro's strikeouts have been like this. After a couple breaking balls, throws the fastball right by him.
All 8 strikeouts for Pedro tonight have been swinging. Jeter down, no balls and 2 strikes after fouling off. It looked like a 2-seam fastball coming in on his hand.
And with the slide step to deliver the ball to Veritek quicker. Most of the time when you're down 3 and you're on the bases, you say, well, you know, we're going to sit back and wait for Earl Weaver's old 3-run homer. Not so against Pedro. You're going to try to get them one at a time so you can look for the Yankees to run even though they're down 3.
Jeter, ground ball towards second. Could be 2. Opperman to balance it for 1 on the first. Not in time. Jeter beats the relay. That play took a long time to develop in the middle infield, and just too much speed by Derek Jeter to turn the double play.
Yeah, an 0-2 changeup, and there's what slowed it down. Opperman stumbled just a bit. Nice strong throw from Valentin, but credit Derek Jeter running hard every step of the way out of the box and was able to beat the return throw.
So Derek will trade places with Chuck Knobloch. He's over at first with 1 out. Paul O'Neill will come to the plate. O'Neill has struck out swinging twice. Once in the first and once in the 4th inning. All back in the 3rd spot tonight. David Justice getting the night off as Henry Rodriguez is the DH tonight against Pedro. O'Neill jackknifed out of the way. That's ball 1. When the league is hitting only 186 against a pitcher, it tells you it's tough to get a sequence of hits together to score runs. Pedro does not walk many, so that makes it almost impossible to get things going against him. That's in there for a strike.
And the other thing that he does so well, we're getting a look at it right here. I mean, he's aware the Yankees might try to steal. He'll hold the ball for 4 or 5 counts, then he'll give you the slide step, and that's the key to holding down a team that steals a lot of bases, is to vary the amount of time you come set. Don't let him get a pattern on you.
Jeter over at first has 10 steals in 11 attempts this year. O'Neill pops one into foul territory. A run for Veritek. Can he do it on this end? Slides into the dugout, but this time does not get the baseball. Once again, good hustle by the Red Sox catcher. By being a switch hitter like Posada, just about an everyday situation behind the plate.
Must have been a football player. He's finding the holes in the line there. Yankee dugout, he found the slot, and he did in his own dugout. Nice effort.
Maybe he's doing that in honor of Howie Long, who's here today. Count remains 1-2. On O'Neill. Did Pedro show the ball to Jeter?
Yeah, there's a little gamesmanship going on down there between the lines.
Call, strike 3. O'Neill caught looking. 3rd time tonight he struck out. And strikeout number 9 for Pedro Martinez.
And you said the first 8 were swinging. Veritek on the outside corner, and it was right there. Plenty of plate and high enough.
Well, Pedro will face Bernie Williams, who's probably had the best swings of him all year long. 2 of those 7 home runs have been on Pedro Martinez, including one tonight that gave the Yankees a brief 1-0 lead in the 2nd inning. Bernie also found out for the catch of Veritek. Sinking fastball outside for ball 1. Bernie now 11 for his last 22. He's jumped his average up to 265. Long hold by Pedro. And Bernie fouls this off. Ball and a strike.
Interesting since the 2nd home run, Kenny, the 2nd home run that Bernie's hit off him in the last 2 weeks. And both of those fastballs have been about in the same spot. They have been somewhere up in this area. And ever since that 2nd one, Pedro's gone curveball down here, change-ups out there, but he has stayed away from that zone where Bernie's taking him out of the ballpark.
Up and in. Too quick. Inside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Pedro Martinez Began the night with a road earned run average of 1.23. He is 20-2 on the road since last year. Tito Martinez hoping to get a chance here in the 6th inning. Breaking ball down and in, gets away from Veritek. Jeter to second, and he's in there. So the count will move to 3-1 on Bernie Williams as Derek Jeter gets down to second base.
Again, the respect that Pedro has for Bernie after the 2 home runs. He's thrown more pitches out of the strike zone to him. Nice block by Veritek to keep it in front of him, but no chance to get to the ball quickly enough, and Jeter advances.
That was scored a stolen base.
Really?
That's what it was up on the scoreboard.
Nah.
I wouldn't think so. I would think that was a wild pitch. They put stolen base on the scoreboard, but actually it was a wild pitch.
Yeah.
So Jeter's at second with 2 outs. He's in scoring position for Bernie Williams. Jeter will be off and running on contact with 2 down. That is inside, ball 4, and the Yankees will have the tying run to the plate with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. We're talking about Pedro on the road. Show the rest of the stats, too. On the road since 1999, 20-2 with a 1.43 at home. Not quite as good, 13-6, but an ERA still sparked like 1.76. And against the Yankees, 1-5 in his last 6 starts.
And again, you always have to point out when you talk about Pedro's record against the Yankees, Red Sox have scored about 8 runs for him in those 5 losses. So he has pitched well enough to win most of them.
Well, the Yankee pitchers have come up big, too, in those games. So Tito Martinez, who's flied to left and single, is up with 2 outs and 2 on. First pitch is driven towards right center field. Everett coming on. He can't get it. It goes by him all the way to the wall. Jeter's going to score. Bernie Williams rounding third. He'll score. Tito Martinez in the third with a 2-run triple. It's a 4-3 ball game. Second triple of the night for the Yankees, and both on very similar plays. Tito Martinez with his first triple of the year drives in 2 runs.
Fastball got too much of the plate, and Tino gets credit for the triple, but credit Bernie Williams, his past success against Pedro Martinez. Pedro pitches very cautiously to him. He drew a walk, and he scores the Yankees' 3rd run.
That sprinter style of running for Bernie Williams, and he scores the Yankees' 3rd run. Tito Martinez, first triple of the year, 90 feet away from tying this game. Henry Rodriguez, who's the DH tonight, fouls one back. Henry is struck out in the 2nd and 4th inning. 0 for 6 on the season since coming back to the Yankees. Had problems in the lower back. Everett with the dive, couldn't come up with it. Nixon with a dive early in the game, and Knobloch had a triple. Nasty breaking ball in for a strike.
Here's the effort Kenny was talking about. Everett with a dive, no chance to get to that. As a result, it ends up a triple, and Bernie Williams scores easily.
Martinez at third, and Rodriguez at the plate, the deep hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Up and in, moves him off the plate, 1-2. Rodriguez looking for his first hit as the Yankee. Up and in again, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's setting them up for the changeup.
Now that the game is close, Brandon Knight sits down, Mike Stanton gets ready.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The Yankees have scored twice here in the 6th. Martinez at third represents the tying run. Rodriguez calls for time. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Rodriguez strikes out for the 3rd time. Tino Martinez is left at 3rd by Pedro Martinez. It was Tino's 2-run triple that closes the Red Sox lead to 4-3. Everett with the dive does not make the catch. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. And by Ford Cars and Trucks, built for the way you live at your Tri-State Quality Ford store. Well, in between innings, Joe Kerrigan talking to Pedro Martinez, and I had a chance to talk to Joe Kerrigan, the Red Sox pitching coach, before the game, and Joe was mentioning that Pedro's thrown a lot of pitches in his last 2 starts against the Yankees, 241 total. And he said, don't be surprised tonight if Pedro comes out after about 95 pitches. They try and protect their meal ticket. And Joe also said that next start for Pedro will be his 2nd start in a row on the normal 5 days rest. Now, believe it or not, they try and get him extra rest as many times as they can to protect that valuable right arm. So Mike Stanton comes in out of the bullpen, and Kitty said the game has gotten closer, and Stanton, who's been one of the better relievers in the league, has a chance to make the All-Star team, comes in.
Now, that's one of the differences when you start ranking great pitchers of all time. I think Jimmy Williams maybe went down, gave him a nice going because the Red Sox bullpen is already up and getting ready. But the toughest outs to get are near the end of a ball game. But I think because of Pedro's, there's Rolando Araujo getting ready, his physical stature, 5'11", 170, I think that's one of the reasons they're overly protective with him. He puts so much into every pitch he delivers.
So Pedro's going to have to rely on the bullpen to hold the Yankees down if he's going to get his 8th win of the year. Jose Offerman at the top of the order for the Red Sox here in the 7th. Offerman is 0 for 3. Popped up, flat out, struck out. Mike Stanton has been outstanding this season. 4-1 with a great earned run average, 1.47. And he'll deal to Jose Offerman. Starts him with a curve and it hangs up high for a ball.
We talked about comparing Pedro with Sandy Koufax, Kenny, and that I think is the pitcher from the 60s that he's most comparable with because of the combination of power and control. Tonight we're seeing one of the differences.
Pitches fouled back. You mean the
pitches? Because as we look at our Toyota box score that the Red Sox have against the Yankees, Everett with 2 hits and a home run, and O'Leary. Koufax pitched 300 innings, but he retired at age 31 because of an arthritic elbow. You got millions of dollars invested in a guy like Pedro. These days are going to be a lot more protective. It's not that he couldn't pitch the last 3. They're just going to be more protective of him.
Curve is driven foul down the left field line by Offerman. Plus, in those days, Koufax worked on a 4-man rotation.
We were talking about great pitchers' duels before the game. Had Messina been allowed to pitch tonight against Pedro, and I guess the best example was Spahn and Marichal went 16 innings. Willie Mays ended it with a home run, and Marichal kept telling Herman Franks, I'm not coming out of the game if that old man doesn't, because Spahn was 42 years old when he pitched 16 innings.
Offerman with a bouncing ball, slowly to short. Jeter setting his feet correctly, throws the first and is 1 down. Nice footwork by Derek Jeter to make that play and wait for just the right hop to throw Offerman out. Almost like dance steps at shortstop.
Yeah, footwork is what determines how good infielders are. A lot of guys can get to the ball, knock it down, but good footwork enables an infielder to make a good throw.
Trot Nixon 0 for 2. He's drawn a walk. That came his last time up, and he scored in front of the home run by Everett. In there for a called strike to the former #1 draft pick of the Red Sox, Trot Nixon. Curve, and he did not go, according to home plate umpire Dan Morrison and third base umpire Hunter Windelstadt.
Yeah, And here's our view. This is what the third base umpire looks for. Probably one of the tougher calls an umpire has to make, and Nixon clearly held up.
Good curve in for a strike, and it's 1-2. Stanton with a curveball go along with that excellent fastball.
Mike, like Andy Pettit in recent years, there you see it almost looks like it's behind him, doesn't it? The last couple of years has really gotten himself in good physical shape, particularly those abs, those stomach muscles that have helped him as a pitcher.
Nixon wouldn't chase that one. The count levels off at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
We're talking about Warren Spahn. And Spahn, he always said, I had the treat of getting a pitching lesson from him 30, 40 years ago, and he said pitching was from like the belly button up. You had to really use your stomach to drive it toward home plate. Pedro relies more on the live arm. Pointed out how he uses that front leg as a post, and then the upper body is just like a whiplash.
What's around it?
Takes a lot out of him every pitch.
Another breaking ball, and the count has run full on Trot Nixon. Stanton got out from into ground down to lead off the inning. Now working on the Red Sox #2 hitter. Will be followed by Carl Everett. Wouldn't chase and draws his second walk of the night. Right now, we're going to take a break and head down to our Manhattan studios and our good friend Bill Daughtry. Bill?
Thanks, Kenny. Before he stops off at Canton, Ohio, Jerry Rice may be making a stop in Oakland. We'll have details later tonight on Sports Desk on MSG.
Right across the Bay Bridge for Jerry Rice over to the Raiders, if that's true. We'll check it out later on Sports Desk, and Bill Daughtry will catch you up on all the action, not only Jerry Rice, but what's going on.
Feel like Barry Bonds going to play for the A's, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Everett hit a home run his last time up. This time the switch hitter on the right-hand side of the plate to face Mike Stanton. Throw to first, and Nixon is back. Red Sox have stolen 13 bases to the team, last in the league.
5th inning off Mendoza, who Everett has hit well, got what appeared to be either a changeup or a mediocre fastball, fell tied.
Had the sound when it left the bat. Breaking ball hit foul down the third base side. Nice play.
And rewards a fan.
She's having a ball. Oh, did you see that? I think she's having a baby, let alone a ball. Yeah. Save that for the youngsters. No balls a good strike on Everett. I hope I'm right.
You better be.
Fouls it at the plate. The count goes quickly to 0-2. Everett has done most of his good hitting from the left-hand side of the plate this year. Right-handed average is not that good.
You pointed out how unusual his stances are as a lefty and a righty. He just lifts that front leg up and cuts and slashes. A free swinger.
2 hits tonight, so that left-handed average has gone up over 320. His right-handed batting average is 229. His batting average, Manny Ramirez, is outstanding, leading the league coming into the night. Off-speed pitches outside, 1-2 to Everett. Kenny, when you're standing there on the mound like that, in between pitches, you're kind of looking down. Are you thinking what you want to throw and you hope the catcher calls it? Is that?
Yeah, you should be thinking 2-3 pitches ahead.
Low again, it's 2-2.
I mean, I'm sure a hitter thinks that way, but you get to 0-2 and you're Everett, I think, well, Stanton's saying this guy's a free swinger. I'm going change up. If he miss, I'm going change up. Now, if I miss with those two, I'm going high fastball. But it doesn't always come off that way, but you try to think 2 or 3 pitches in advance.
I always thought about the next one coming.
Yeah. Well, that's the advantage of being a pitcher. You control the action if you can execute.
2-2 to Everett. Breaking ball, got him. Mike Stanton picked up his first strikeout of the night. They're 2 down and a man on first after Everett goes down.
Yeah, there's the good Stanton curveball, and once Everett picks that front leg up and commits, there's no way he can hold back. And well out in front of the curve. So Everett, who has doubled and homered and struck out twice, is back in the dugout.
But that will bring up the even more dangerous Manny Ramirez.
Now, Oliver's on the mound, and here's the situation. If Nixon were on second base, they'd walk Manny Ramirez. And then Jimmy Williams could go to his bench, and he could call on Dante Bichette, or I guess he would be the most logical choice. So I think you pitch to Manny Ramirez here, even as if first base was open. You, in a 4-3 ball game, you don't want to let him do any damage if you're Mike Stanton. You'd rather put it in the hands of O'Leary or Bichette.
There's Bichette waiting his turn on the bench. He pitches outside for ball 1.
I mean, you hate to pitch or think defensively, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher, but you got to respect the guy that's got Triple Crown numbers.
Ramirez on a pace to drive in 180 runs. Imagine if he gets hot. Then they say he's on pace to break.
He's not hot yet. Huh?
Yeah, to break Hack Wilson's record. Big swing and a miss. Strike 1, 1-1. With Hack Wilson back in the 30s, drove in 190 runs for the Chicago Cubs. And during that year, set the National League record for home runs in a season, which has since been broken, but hit 56 that year at Wrigley Field.
We'll see a couple of records this year. Manny Ramirez will knock in 200, and Ichiro will get 300 hits. They're both on pace to do that.
And we'll see what the veteran Joe Oliver is thinking about as sets the side for Mike Stanton. Like fastball in. Good swing, and he fouls it back 1-2. I don't think that hit the target. That was in the danger zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I give Mike Stanton a lot of credit. I mean, he's pitching with conviction. He is not backing down. It's like, here's my best stuff. Hit it if you can. And, of course, most of the time, Manny does.
You saw Oliver reach towards the middle of the plate, and that is the danger area against a hot hitter like Ramirez. A lot of fans getting on their feet in support of Mike Stanton, trying to nail down this final out here at the top of the 7th with Nixon on first and 2 down. Ramirez had a big swing and fouls it back. We had a note during our series in Boston that Manny Ramirez fouls off more pitches than anybody in the league.
Fouls off good pitchers' pitches. That's what that was. I mean, I think the best time to get a good big league hitter out with a fastball is 2 strikes because you're more protected. I mean, he hit the 491 footer off a curveball. They're just a touch slower with 2 strikes. Not much.
Driven towards center field. Bernie Williams came in. Now has to play it on a hop. Gets it back in. Nixon will head to third, and the Red Sox have runners on the corners with 2 out. That ball fooled Bernie Williams in center field. Might have been one of those knuckling line drives.
Exactly what it was. It fooled him because it was hit so hard. It's a curveball. Now Oliver wants it. You see the target down. And after fouling off the fastball, Manny is right on time on the curveball. Here's Bernie. And that thing starts knuckling away from him. He did well just to get leather on it and keep it in front of him. Nixon with 2 out. Gets to third easily.
So Red Sox on the corners for Troy O'Leary. O'Leary struck out, hit a 2-run homer, then struck out again. Takes the bunt. Takes it high for a ball. If you're a third baseman or even a manager, your heart starts beating after something like that. Brocious came in on the giddy-up in case O'Leary did bunt that ball. Evens the count of the ball and a strike.
Perfect spot with that one. Mike with a little cutter. He's not your average relief pitcher that relies on one pitch. Fastball, good overhand curve, cutter, and an occasional changeup.
O'Leary 4 for 16 against Stanton. Curve is bounced right to Tito Martinez. He'll step on the bag. The Red Sox leave runners in the corners against Mike Stanton. We're headed to the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. It's 4-3 Boston.
And the round starts.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Jerry there?
Yeah.
How you doing?
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 How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
So what's going on?
You don't want to know.
Other airline credit cards give you 1 mile for every dollar you spend. But only the Delta Sky Miles credit card from American Express gives you that. Plus, you'll always get double miles at supermarkets, drugstores, and on Delta tickets. On top of 5,000 bonus miles just for getting the card. Watch how quickly all those extra miles add up to your free vacation travel. We can't say the Delta Sky Miles credit card is twice as good as other airline credit cards, but you might. Call 1-800-SKY-MILES to apply now.
We're in Central Park, kids. Oh, wow, look at Chinatown. Hey, look, a giant ape is climbing the Empire State Building.
Ford Windstar is the first vehicle to earn the government's quadruple 5-star safety rating and the only one to offer the optional AutoVision family entertainment system. Peace of mind, plus peace and quiet.
Oh, look, a dinosaur's eating the World Trade Center.
Oh, look, kids, another video.
Awesome!
Get a loaded Windstar with 0-9 financing for 60 months or $2,500 cash back at your Tri-State Quality Ford store.
Ramiro Mendoza starting for the Yankees against Pedro Martinez of the Boston Red Sox. Yankees got on the board in the second inning against Pedro. Bernie Williams with a home run gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Troy O'Leary raced that in the fourth. 2-1 Red Sox. 4-1 Red Sox after Everett homered in the fifth. And Tito Martinez with a triple that drove in 2 runs for the Yankees. And that's where we stand as we go to the bottom of the seventh. Bernie Williams crosses the plate with the Yankees' 3rd run. It's a 4-3 game. Williams with a solo home run at 7th. O'Leary a 2-run shot is 4th. Everett with his 7th home run of the year, a 2-run job. Pedro Martinez, who is now out of the ball game, struck out 10 in 6 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 hits. Pedro threw 90 pitches. As the fans still on their feet for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. And the new pitcher is Rolando Araujo, who's been pretty stingy out of the Red Sox bullpen. Will come into relief of Pedro Martinez.
Good control, almost to strike out an inning early in the year when Derek Lowe was struggling. Araujo was used as a closer, with Lowe back on track now, and Araujo used as a setup.
Araujo is not allowed a run in his last 4 appearances. That's over 8 1/3. Scott Brocious will lead it off for the Yankees here at the bottom of the 7th. We're going to look at his first 2 plate appearances. Strikeout in the 2nd inning, and now in the 5th. Same pitch, high fastball, got him. Pedro Martinez struck out 10 while he was in there. It's the 78th time he's had 10 or more strikeouts in a ball game. Araujo starts Brocious off with a breaking ball, and it's ball 1. 9th time this year that Pedro has struck out 10 or more. Brocious lines one into left field, a leadoff single. So the Yankees have the tying run aboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We've mentioned that Pedro Martinez was taken out of the game because he had thrown a lot of pitches against the Yankees in his last 2 starts. Look at Brocious get this base hit on a fastball in the center of the plate.
Yeah, and this is a big lift for the Yankee lineup. I mean, they're thinking Pedro's out of the game. It's a 1 run. I mean, Araujo's got good stuff, but he's not Pedro. So last part of this game, even though the Yankees are down a run, it's a big advantage for him.
See how Joe Torre wants to play it with Joe Oliver at the plate. Does he try and sacrifice Brocious over to second base? There's the bunt, and it's a good one. Araujo only has 1 play. He throws to first, and Scott Brocious moves down to second. Sacrifice goes 1-3. So Joe Oliver gets the job done and moves Scott Brocious into scoring position.
Well, you haven't played in 2 weeks, and you're called on to lay down a bunt. That's credit to Joe Oliver. Perfect execution. Only 1 play for the Red Sox.
Joe Oliver gets the job done. And the Yankees are going to go to the bench. And with David Justice not starting tonight, Joe Torre makes use of it in a pinch hitting role for Alfonso Soriano. Nice round of applause for David Justice. One of 3 Yankees with 10 home runs, all tied for the lead on the ball club, along with Paul O'Neill and Jorge Posada. Justice has been swinging a pretty good bat of late. He's got Brocious at second with 1 out. Arrojo's first pitch is inside for ball one.
And some might wonder why Justice not in the lineup. Joe Torre addressed that before the game. David did have a personal matter to attend to, and he was not at the ballpark at the start of the ball game with permission, but Joe said he will be available later at a key situation. Here he is.
Outside ball two. 2 balls and no strikes on Justice. Now Justice backs out. We'll look at our Yankees Toyota box score. Chuck Knobloch at the top, 2 for 3 with a triple. Tino Martinez, 2 for 3 with a triple with a couple of runs batted in. And Bernie Williams with a home run in 2 at-bats. Inside, almost hit Justice, and the count goes to 3-0.
The one at bat, when we looked at that box score, and here's a hitter's count, and Arrojo just is not going to give him anything over the plate, and he misses well inside. The one at bat that does not show up in that box score, and Bernie Williams, my way of thinking, the biggest at bat of the night was the walk he drew before Tino Martinez triple.
3-0 on Justice. Almost like he pitched around him. That's ball 4. So the Yankees have 2 men on with 1 out.
Pedro Martinez had a 4-1 lead with a man on first base, but the respect for Bernie Williams, after a couple of breaking balls that missed, he ended up walking Bernie. That allowed Tino to come to the plate, make it a 1-run ball game. Pedro's out. Joe Kerrigan with a trip to the mound as the Red Sox, with Pedro out of the game, have begun to lose control of this ball game.
See Jose Offerman out there to translate between Joe Kerrigan and Rolando Arrojo.
Well, there's 3 plays, you know, that as Sherrick begins to heat up in the Red Sox bullpen, you know, 3 plays, like if you have a pickoff at second base or something like that, that they might want to talk about or want to make sure they're all on the same page.
El Guapo. Rich Garces is up in the pen as well as Sherrick. Right-hander and a left-hander.
Another one might be just, as you saw the 2 pitchers, just to buy a little time for those 2 guys.
Yeah, I wonder at which point, you know, Hoffman came in to translate. When does Arrojo know exactly what he's saying? You know,
you just keep shaking your head. Yeah. You'll comprendo.
Knobloch chases the pitch low and in for strike 1. Chuck's got a triple and a single in 3 at-bats. Yankees down by a run here in the 7th inning. Tying runs at second, to go ahead run at first. In the persons of Brocious and Justice. Knobloch pops it up. Foul territory for Hillenbrand over near the seat. And can't quite make the catch. That's not Bernie Williams. Bernie didn't get it, did he? A Bernie fan made the play.
Of course, once the ball goes over that barrier, it's fair game for the fan. Hillenbrand did all he could to reach as far into the stands, and the young fan came up with a souvenir instead.
Derek Jeter is on deck. Low and away. It looks like that's where they wanted it. 1-2 on Knobloch.
Well out of the strike zone. That's where Veritek moved.
So Rojo, who battled El Duque, Orlando Hernandez many times in their native Cuba, deals to Knobloch. Backed him off, and it's 2-2. In fact, they had billboards in Cuba. Instead of El Duque is the Duke, Rojo is the king.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course, that was in his hometown. 2-2 pitch all the way. Outside, and Knobloch did not chase. Randy Marsh with the call, and the count has run full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And that is a big miss, because this will allow Joe Torre to start the runners. He can bank on Knobloch to make contact most of the time.
Yeah, the fans getting into it here in the 7th. Yanks down by 1. Payoff pitch on the way. The runners go. Ground ball towards third. Hillenbrand, only one play across the diamond for the out. So Brocious goes to third. Justice moves to second. And there'll be 2 down for Derek Jeter. Derek looking for his first hit of the night. He did reach on a fielder's choice and score a run in the 6th. Jeter has not had much success against Rojo. So Torre talking to Knobloch, and maybe something during that last at bat. Jeter just 2 for 14 against the Red Sox right-hander. Swings at a slider and doesn't get it. Strike 1. He has drawn 5 walks against the tall right-hander. Almost caught Jeter on the kneecap, and the count goes to a ball and a strike.
Here's his first couple of at-bats. This against Pedro. Actually hit this ball fairly well on the barrel, but Valentin gets that easily. And a fastball strikeout in the 3rd. And hit into a fielder's choice.
Timeout is called by Veritek, and he wants to make sure that they know what they're doing on this next pitch.
You know what I've noticed about a Rojo, and I notice it because going through it myself, when you've been a starting pitcher and now you're a reliever, the tendency is you want to make a perfect pitch and you want to throw harder than you're capable of throwing. And you noticed every time he's gotten a hit, the next pitch has been like way off the... I mean, you're trying to protect the lead for Pedro Martinez. That's a little added pressure to begin with.
Fastball looped down the right field line, and it is a fair ball. Brocious scores. Here comes Justice, and the Yankees have taken the lead on a bloop single by Derek Jeter. And with that hit, Pedro will not win this game. A 2-out bloop single by Derek Jeter, just fair down the right field line.
Veritek wants it inside. It was out over the plate. There it goes with it. And by that margin, it is fair. Nixon fielding it on a hop, but not before 2-run score. And the Yankees take the lead.
See how close this was going down the line. Man, right on the chalk. So Rojo is gone. The Red Sox go to the bullpen again. We'll be back with the bottom of the 7th inning.
Other airline credit cards give you 1 mile for every $1 you spend. But only the Delta Sky Miles credit card from American Express gives you that. Plus, you'll always get double miles at supermarkets, drugstores, and on Delta tickets. On top of 5,000 bonus miles just for getting the card. Watch how quickly all those extra miles add up to your free vacation travel. We can't say the Delta Sky Miles credit card is twice as good as other airline credit cards, but you might. Call 1-800-SKY-MILES to apply now.
Everyone settle down. It's time we had the talk. At Snapple, when young fruit ripen, they may want to combine with other fruit. These urges are perfectly natural. So experiment, explore, even play the field. When fruit join together, it's a very special thing at Snapple.
You know what's great? This morning I lived like this. And now I can live like this. Hey, baby. If I'm not the man of your dreams, I don't know who is.
I do.
Perhaps an aperitif, my dove?
D.D. Waterhouse. Transfer funds between brokerage and bank accounts. Even pay bills all online. How easy is this?
Well, by the margin of less than an inch, Derek Jeter puts the Yankees in the lead and knocks Orlando Rojo out of the game. The Yankees lead 5-4, and starting tomorrow night, the Baltimore Orioles come to the stadium for American League East contest. Game time each night is at 7:05. Get your tickets by visiting the stadium ticket window, Yankee Clubhouse shops, or calling Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212. Baltimore Orioles, who have made some noise in the Eastern Division, are in third place in the division. Pete Shurik has come out of the bullpen. He'll face Paul O'Neill.
Best time to steal a base. Team back on their heels. First pitch when a new pitcher comes in.
Shurik deals to the plate, and O'Neill takes outside for ball one. O'Neill with the hat trick tonight, 3 strikeouts. Struck out swinging twice. Last time was called out on strike. Had some good numbers against Pete Shurik in the past. That's low. 2 balls and no strikes. Yankees scored 2 in the 6th, 2 more here in the 7th to take the lead away from the Red Sox. It's 5-4. Derek Lowe taking care of shoe work in the bullpen.
Derek Lowe and Pete Shurik. You know, when you come to Yankee Stadium, you got these basketball courts around there. See the kids playing basketball?
Right over at the...
Yeah, Lowe was a tremendous basketball player. He and Pete Shurik, you know, slow pace, so they didn't get hurt. They're playing a little one-on-one courtside early this afternoon.
Bringing back those high school memories. O'Neill checks his swing, and the ball is high. 3-0 to Paul O'Neill. Like somebody else is going to spring in the action. Not Derek Lowe in the Red Sox bullpen. So it's back to closing games. Rich Garces is up for the second time. Way high, ball 4, and Shurik has walked the first man he faces, Paul O'Neill. That'll move Derek Jeter down to second base. That'll bring up the switch hitting Bernie Williams. So it doesn't really matter who Jimmy Williams brings out of the bullpen. Bernie is switch hitter.
Yeah, tonight's game has been a good example of some of the little subtle things that make this game great. And it's, when you saw Bernie's hitting line, it's not the home run, it's the walk, it's the count going full to non-block that enabled the runners to move up on a ground ball. And now another base on balls that gives the Yankees a chance to add to their lead.
2 on, 2 out. Bernie is homered, fouled out, and drew a walk, as Kitty mentioned. Shurik deals, and it's up high for ball 1. Two on, 2 out. Yankees trying to extend a 1-run lead against Pete Shurik and the Red Sox. Bernie with the home run extended a hitting streak to 7 consecutive games. And a good swing, but fouled it back. It's a ball and a strike. Another clutch situation for the Yankees if they want to put a little padding on the scoreboard against Pete Shurik. Left-hander from Virginia taking his time and now steps off. Can't get together on the sides with his catcher, Jason Veritek.
His pace a lot slower than Pedro's, and we've seen Bernie Williams over the years. He loves to dictate the pace and take his time, get set in that batter's box.
Swings through a high fastball, and it's 1-2.
Like it had just enough movement at the end of it, just high enough for Bernie not to be able to make contact with it.
That's another example of that high fastball that hitters are chasing a little more this year because of the new and improved for the pitcher's strike zone. Wouldn't chase, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. A breaking ball in the dirt.
reading about that earlier today. We're back in the 60s after Gibson had the great year. Bob Gibson, they lowered the mound from 15 inches to 10, and the strike zone used to be the bottom of the knees to almost the shoulders. It has shrunk considerably, but now this year it is a bit more liberal.
So you're saying that from that point on, the hitting stats went up, and now we've reached that curve and we're headed back down the other way?
They said enough is enough. Let's give the pitchers a little fairer chance this year.
And tell that to Barry Bonds. Bernie swings, ground ball to the left side, in for a base hit. Jeter rounding third. He'll come in to score. The Yankees take a 2-run lead. It's now 6-4. And Pete Shura gives up a single to Bernie Williams. You know, Jimmy Williams is caught in a place where managers are caught when you have a switch hitter at the plate like Bernie Williams. If I make a move, why should I make it? You know, he might get a hit from the other side of the plate.
And that's exactly what he did. And now, even though Tino Martinez, a left-hand hitter, is coming up, Jimmy Williams going to go to the bullpen and bring in a right-hand pitcher. They want it inside, but instead of being in there, out over the middle of the plate where Bernie can get the barrel on it.
So Pete Shura leaves as Bernie Williams delivers. We'll be back with the bottom of the 7th in a moment.
Every big business had humble beginnings. That's why you need a bank with a vision as big as yours. Right now at the Dime, we're working with one company that, well, just you wait. No matter what size your business is today, you're worth more at the Dime.
Get surrounded by savings. It's the all-around sale at the Wiz with great deals all around in every department store-wide. So many sale prices, there's just no getting around them. Take home a Sony 53-inch projection TV for just $17.99. Get this Iowa shelf system for just $149.99. Or pick up a powerful compact computer and start speed surfing the net for as low as $699.99. Here, there, and everywhere savings. The all-around sale at the Wiz. Get it right at the Wiz.
Here's Derek Jeter, who has scored his second run in 2 innings. The Yankees lead 6-4. And for you hockey fans, the New Jersey Devils, of course, are back in the Stanley Cup Finals. There's only one place to turn for the full scoop. Watch MSG Network following every Stanley Cup game for the Tri-State 4 Devils game report. Following the Devils Avalanche Game 5 tonight, only on MSG Network. There's an artist rendering of a Yankee Stadium, and it looks like a full Yankee Stadium. The Devils tonight are up 3-1 in the second period. If they win that game against the Avalanche, they will be up 3-2. Frenchie. As El Guapo, Rich Garces, trying to put his signature on the bottom of the 7th here.
From Frenchie to French fry. French fry. Garces is kind of like Mickey Lolich. You know, when Lolich didn't pitch too well, don't you think you're a little heavy? But when he pitched well, he didn't say anything about it. Same thing's true with Garces.
24 strikeouts in 27 innings. That's a strike to Tino Martinez, who's 2 for 3 with a 2-run triple his last time up. Tino's first triple of the season. O'Neill at second. Williams at first. Tino swings and lifts a high fly ball to center field for Everett. When this comes down, we'll be headed to the 8th inning. Everett makes the play. And as we do, the Yankees have taken the lead with a 3-run outburst here in the 7th inning, highlighted by a 2-run single by Derek Jeter and a run-scoring single by Bernie Williams.
Find your own designated driver.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
Spreading the love, my friend. Just spreading the love. Get a medium Coke free when you buy a delicious new 5-piece Mighty Wings at McDonald's. It's terrific chicken. It's a terrific deal. I can feel the love.
Some experiences stay with you. Like the feeling of driving the new Chrysler Sebring convertible. With a 200 horsepower V6 engine and race-inspired suspension, it's an exhilarating experience that lingers. Now, well-qualified returning gold key lessees can lease the Sebring LX convertible for $329 a month.
Johnson, did you upgrade to digital yet?
Johnson's dead.
Oh, I thought you said you were Johnson.
No, he's dead.
Oh, that it is. D-E-A.
If business were that easy, you wouldn't need us. Update your office technology with Canon Business Solutions.
6-4 Yankees, a 3-run outburst in the bottom of the 7th gives them the lead as we head to the top of the 8th. And Thursday night on MSG Network, don't miss WNBA action when Teresa Weatherspoon and the New York Liberty roll into Cleveland to take on the Rockers. It's Liberty Hoops Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on MSG.
Justice stays in the game. Joe Torre wants him to stay in the lineup because he would be due up 4th in the next inning. And Luis Soho, in Paul O'Neill's spot in the batting order, goes in and takes over at second. Justice had pinch hit for Soriano. And now with a 2-run lead, Stanton's still in the ball game, and Joe Torre can play it an out at a time, a hitter at a time, having Mariano Rivera ready to come in at any time. It is much more in vogue this year to use a closer for 4, 5, even 6 outs if you need it. Time called by home plate umpire Dan Morrison.
There was a noise over the PA system in the...
And Jimmy Williams heard it.
It sounded like a bowling ball going downstairs. And Jimmy Williams, you got to give him credit, though, taking Pedro out of the game, and true to their word, they didn't want him to go much past that 90 pitch mark. They said 95, Pedro had 90. So here's the guy who's thinking about the long term and protecting his ace, even though he had the lead when he took Pedro out of the game, and he probably would have held it. He went to the bullpen, and it didn't come through. So, you give him credit for thinking of the big picture and not just his game tonight.
Veritek picks on a Stanton curveball and gives the Red Sox a leadoff base runner here in the top of the 8th. And Mariano Rivera will pick up the pace in the...
Looked like a hanging curveball that Veritek lines into left field for base hit, his second hit of the night over the outstretched glove of Derek Jeter. The Red Sox bring the tying run to the plate.
And the shortstop John Valentin, who's 1 for 3, steps in. Curve hangs high for a ball. Back to your point about Pedro, I think that's, with the money involved in the game, there's so much pressure on a manager. There's no question in my mind, as Mariano heats up, that Pedro could go out and have pitched another inning or 2. But because of the money involved, managers don't want to allow that to happen. At Sim sides 2-0. Say you leave him out there for 125, 30 pitches, and he would get hurt. I mean, history will tell you can get hurt in the second inning as well as you can in the 9th, but it's just today's game is played that way. They are overly protective of their star pitchers. 3-0 now to Valentin. The only thing that has plagued Mike Stanton over the years has been control. An occasional walk, and one more sip of green tea by Joe Torre, and he's going to be ready to make that walk to the mound. 4-pitch walk. And the Red Sox, after the Yankees score 3 in the 8th, come right back and put the first 2 men on. Dante Bichette will be announced as the pinch hitter for Brian Daubach. Would like to have gotten one more out of Mike Stanton or two, but Mariano Rivera will be called on to get a 6-out save, a 2-inning save, which is unusual these days. Stanton departs. He is the pitcher of record. He would stand to get the win if the Yankees hang on to this one. Mariano coming on to take over the pitching. Red Sox have 2 on, nobody out. We're in the top of the 8th. Back after this.
The Mohegan Sun Way. What is it? Let's find out. Now, do you give this kind of service to everyone? No matter who, VIP or... yeah?
I'll park anything that comes up there.
Anything at all?
Anything.
So I'm here. Yes, sir. Where are you? A horse and a cart.
Horse in a cart.
And like the guy who makes all this stuff, what time does he have to be here? 5 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock? Do you think he could get me a good seat at the Wolf Den?
I see we're bonding here. I can understand why you like
so.
this. A tank.
A tank.
An airplane.
An airplane.
And that's the Mohegan Sun Way.
Like most companies, you depend on Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, and hundreds of other software packages. Which is why you need a Sybase Enterprise portal, the smart way to integrate your business apps on the web. Sybase. Information anywhere.
Other airline credit cards give you 1 mile for every dollar you spend. But only the Delta Sky Miles credit card from American Express gives you that. Plus, you'll always get double miles at supermarkets, drugstores, and on Delta tickets. On top of 5,000 bonus miles just for getting the card. Watch how quickly all those extra miles add up to your free vacation travel. We can't say the Delta Sky Miles credit card is twice as good as other airline credit cards, but you might. Call 1-800-SKY-MILES to apply now.
Well, as the fans at Yankee Stadium, 41,000 strong, stood and applauded the appearance of Mariano Rivera. His numbers will tell you why they like to see him come in. 16 saves, only 5 walks, and just 20 hits. And with all the great starters the Yankees have, what did you say about the fans of New York, Kenny?
Well, I think they had a poll over the winter, an online poll about who was the best pitcher on the Yankee staff, and they listed all the starters. They listed one reliever. Yep. That's the man who won.
You know, we talk about the great starting pitching and how important it is, and with Pedro and Clemens and Messina and Pedro and all around baseball, but the big difference is which teams have good bullpens, because the game, nobody or seldom pitches complete games anymore. It is always decided by these guys at the end of the game. Valentin at first with the walk, Veritek at second, and the Red Sox send up Dante Bichette. And Boston hoping that he can recapture some of that magic that he had when he was a member of the Rockies.
One year he was second in the MVP balloting to Barry Larkin of the Cincinnati Reds.
You'll have to dial it up a little quicker to catch up with that.
That was a loosening up swing. You know, you come off the bench, you're cold, and you go swing that first pitch that comes in there and just gets all loosened up.
Like Smokey Burgess, who was a great pinch hitter, he always swung at the front. It cracked every vertebrae in his back. It'd say, 2 to get loose and 1 to produce. Well, he's had the 2 to get loose.
Speaking of pinch hitters, as we watch Bichette swing through another pitch, how about Lenny Harris? So the Mets has got 140 now. He's only 10 away from the pinch hitting record set by Manny Mota years ago with the Dodgers.
41,000 on their feet again. There is no energy in baseball like the energy at Yankee Stadium late in the game and a post game of a rivalry like this. Struck him out. Right up the ladder in Bichette. A 3-pitch strikeout and a big out for Rivera and the Yankees.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thanks for coming.
And now the free swinging Shea Hillenbrand. doubled in 3 trips in tonight's game. Fouled out of play, strike one. All 4 pitches in about the same zone. And those of you that have seen Mariano over the years, you've heard people talk about it, and we've talked about it. He is the only pitcher, to my knowledge, in the history of baseball that has used the same pitch, the same location, the same speed, pitch after pitch. That high cutter. There it is there, poked out to right. Justice near the corner will have room, and he'll put it away. The runners will hold. And there are 2 away in the Red Sox 8th. For 4 for Offerman, but he has been swinging the bat much better lately.
This is Offerman's 48th game this season. He's had a hit in 39. So feeling a lot better physically than he was last year when he had knee problems. And kind of alternated between first base and second base. Tonight playing second for the Red Sox.
Cutter inside. See, it moves away from a righty. As tough as Mariano is on righties, he's tougher on lefties.
Watch this ball just gun in on the hand. And best you can do this, when you hit it hard, you pull it foul.
And once he gets ahead, he usually throws that right up around the letters, right, or your bat handle. Like that. Ball and a strike. Medium deep in the outfield. Jam shot in on the hands, and the fans will get into it again. 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. And the Yankees lead by 2. Comes in with 2 on, no outs, and shuts down the Red Sox to hold a 2-run Yankee lead as we head to the bottom of the
8th. Policeman, fireman, the mailman, and Ramon. The old man sitting on the paper truck, Mr. Pie. Then the local deli sells me morning coffee, wishes me good luck. This is for the people in my neighborhood. They help me through the day, make me feel good. This bus for you, and you, and you, and you. This bus for you.
Your typical airline credit card gives you 1 mile for every $1 you spend. But only the Delta Sky Miles credit card from American Express gives you that. Plus, you'll always get double miles at gas stations, home improvement stores, and on Delta tickets, on top of 5,000 bonus miles just for getting the card. Watch how quickly all those extra miles add up to your free vacation travel. The Delta Sky Miles credit card, faster than your typical airline credit card. Call 1-800-SKY-MILES to apply now.
O'Neill with a drive towards right field. Going back. This one is gone. A line drive home run by Paul O'Neill.
Beautiful, clear night in the city as you look at Manhattan from the Bronx. Yankees lead it by a pair. We head to the bottom of the 8th and remind you that you can watch MSG Sports Desk tonight. You'll get a complete recap of this Yankee-Red Sox battle, the latest on the National Hockey League and the NBA playoffs. Of course, all the local sports news and highlights. It's on the MSG Sports Desk night following Yankee baseball. Then tomorrow night on our scorecard show, it'll be a look at Mitch Williams. He is the pitching coach for the Atlantic City team in the Independent League, and the manager in that league, remember the famous Mendoza line, is Mario Mendoza. That is not on our scorecard show. It's tomorrow night on Sports Desk tomorrow night. Offering it over to first base in Hipólito Pichardo. Limited action. He's been on the disabled list a great deal the last couple of years. This guy was some tough middle inning reliever when he was with Kansas City. Lou Merlone just called up. Craig Graybeck on the disabled list. Merlone called up. He takes over at second base. Offerman moves over to first. And Henry Rodriguez is very happy that Pedro Martinez is out of the ballgame. His first start of the season on the DL most of the year with a strained lower back. 3 strikeouts against Pedro. Now he'll get a crack at Pichardo here to lead off the 8th. Ground foul, strike 1. Red Sox sent Pedro Martinez to the mound. Bernie Williams got a home run in the second, gave the Yankees a 1-run lead, and the Red Sox came back with a pair of 2-run shots, O'Leary and Veritek, and you got the sense at the stadium that the fans were saying this one's over. 4-1 Red Sox with Pedro outside for a ball. And again, I think that's what makes this game so much better than the other games, the little inside stuff. And it was the walk to Bernie Williams that turned the whole game around, gave Tino Martinez a chance to hit. That's grounded toward Offerman. He'll make the shovel toss to Pichardo, and Rodriguez is retired. Tino got a triple. Pedro had a long inning. He had to be taken out of the ball game. And then, of course, Scott Brocious led off the 7th with a single. He's coming to the plate right now. Here's his at-bat in the second.
The second inning, he was struck out by a blazing fastball by Pedro. Same treatment in the 4th. Make that the 5th inning as he struck out swinging. But then in the 7th, it's Rolando Araujo leading off the inning. It was his single that got it going, and he did come around to score.
Yankees sent 8 men to the plate last inning. They scored 3, and they now lead at 6-4. Tied for a ball. The other big pitch in the ball game, the count. We've talked about how important the count is in baseball. The count went to 3-2 on Chuck Knobloch, enabled Joe Torre to start the runners. Low for a ball. They advanced on a ground out by Knobloch, and that enabled them to both score on Derek Jeter's hit down the right field line. Fouled straight back, 2-1 to Brocious. Managers have said for years in baseball, it's not the long ball that'll beat you, it's the base on balls. I think we talked the other night about great pitchers in the Hall of Fame that have given up a lot of home runs, but most of them with nobody on base. They didn't walk anybody.
Fergie Jenkins, Catfish Hunter.
3-1 now to Brocious. Luke out to second. Merlone puts it away. 2 away here in the Yankee 8th.
Brocious with a good approach, though, going the other way, as he has done for most of the year.
Satisfying game for Joe Oliver because of that little line right there. Sacrifice bunt. If the Yankees hold on, you catch a winning game. You get to play every 2 weeks. You like to have it be in a winning situation. First strike.
Yeah, we mentioned at the beginning of the game that Joe Oliver is playing in his 9th game of the season, which is the fewest of any major leaguer who started the season on opening day.
Sky in the air to center. Everett is there. Maloney moving out. And Everett will make the call and the catch. Pichardo pitches a 1-2-3-8. Against Mariano Rivera, he'll head to the ninth with Nixon, Everett, and Manny Ramirez, 2 up.
The Yanks are at the stadium to battle Cal Ripken and the Baltimore Orioles after New York Marriott Marquis Yankees scorecard. Wednesday night, only on MSG Network.
The New Jersey Devils are back in the Stanley Cup Finals, and there's only one place to turn for the full scoop on this year's championship battle against Colorado. MSG Network follows every Stanley Cup game with extensive post-game coverage.
I think it was a test first, and we passed the test.
Get all the reactions, game highlights, interviews, and more.
Oh, it's great. For the team concept, we shut them down.
The Tri-State Ford Devils post-game report, immediately following Devils Avalanche Game 5, tonight on MSG. It's more than just a game.
Got a minute? Introducing Jet Wet. Why waste your time and effort with messy liquids or hand-applied products? Look, with Jet Wet, you just spray it on. It's the world's fastest, wettest high-gloss tire shine. No wiping. It's streak-free, fast-drying, water-resistant. And the jet black wet look lasts for weeks. Amazing. Less than 60 seconds for all 4 tires, and you're done. Jet Wet. Because wetter is better.
How much PC can 849 get you? More PC than we can tell you about in 30 seconds. A super-fast Intel Pentium 3 processor, CD-ROM, accelerated graphics, pro-quality audio system, monitor, one-touch internet access, lots of memory, plus 5 color choices, red, green, blue, purple, and orange, and that's just for starters. The compact Presario 5000T. Let us build one for you. Call toll-free 1-888-252-0730 for all this, and we'll double your memory for free. Hey, do I have time to mention the...
Yankees with 5 in the last couple of innings have taken a 6-4 lead. We head to the top of the 9th inning. Mariano Rivera will try to save it. And we remind you that Thursday nights on Metro, it's Game Face. This week, Dave Sims is joined by broadcaster Bob Costas, Giants quarterback Jason Garrett, author David Halberstam. Put on your Game Face Thursday night, 10 p.m., only on Metro. Well, as is often the case when you're the closer, the short reliever, and that's why they are the most valuable guys in the game, you got to face the heart of the order. You got Nixon, Everett, and Manny Ramirez coming up. The Yankees lead it by a pair.
One of those 2 times that Nixon walked, he did come around to score in front of a home run by Everett. That was back in the 5th inning. I'd like to have those high on-base percentage guys in front of the 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Same spot, same pitch, strike 1. Talk to left-hand hitters. They ever think about backing off the plate, and they say, you know, the more they back off, the more it just bores right in on that handle.
And plus, he can hit the outside corner, too.
Like that.
Watch this thing just run in on the hands. I mean, just eat up that handle. Eat like a buzzsaw.
Right to Brocious, backs it down, recovers, can't make a play. They tried the backdoor slider, and credit Nixon. He slapped it the other way. And the Red Sox have the tying run coming to the plate.
3rd consecutive time that Nixon has been on the base. Hits this one hard, and Brocious almost comes up with a spectacular play. The ball rolled away too far for him to recover. That's going to be an infield single.
A 2-strike emergency swing. After all the pitches in on the hands, they were going to take one shot at the outside corner. Couldn't get it past Nixon. Here's Everett, who has had a big night.
This should be a true test of this cutter.
Strike 1.
As close as Everett stands to the plate, that ball running in on the hands, he has to be extra quick. Get good wood on it. I mean, he's got more than plate coverage. He's got coverage of the right-hand hitter's batter's box.
Broken bat. Second base, Soho will take it himself. The flip toss, not in time. effort by Tino Martinez. And Everett beats it by an eyelash.
Soho's going to take it himself. Good play by Tino, and does he come up with it? It looked like he was out. He was out. You know, that's a key play because you have Manny Ramirez coming up with a man on representing the tying run. Here's the scoop, and he was out at first base.
Didn't get a big argument from the Yankees, so evidently it appeared that he was safe. And for some umpires, they listen for the sound of the ball hitting the glove and look at the foot. Tough call for crew chief Randy Marsh, but it did appear that Everett had been doubled up, and you're right, it is a big play. Now there's 1 out, 1 on, and Manny Ramirez stepping in. These guys have had a couple good battles already this year. Strike one.
Might get a defining angle on this play at first base. There's the scoop by Tino Martinez. It's in his glove, and Everett's foot has not reached the bag.
Little more of a cutter. A little bigger break on that one. Outside, a ball and a strike.
You know, when you think of matchups that you want to see and people will pay money to see, this is one of them.
That's why the crowd right now is, they're kind of sitting back. You know, with 2 outs, you'll see them stand, but right now they're just sitting back and saying, who's going to win this guy? Two strikes. Back on April 13th, this was their first battle of the year, and this won the game for the Red Sox.
2-run single back to the legs of Mariano Rivera, and the Red Sox had a 1-run victory. I mean, all these games have been close between these two teams this year. The Yankees lead the series. They've won 6 of the first 11. Manny had his ace swing at that last pitch.
As you said, he fouls off more good pitchers' pitches. Up for a moment, he might have broken his bat on that one.
League's leading hitter, leading RBI man, tied for the league lead in home runs. But he hasn't done all that well against Mariano Rivera.
He's actually become a better breaking ball hitter. He has a little more trouble with the guys that throw hard, if he has any trouble at all. Two and two. That looked like the four-seamer. We talked about that from Pedro. That didn't have the cutting action. It's like Mariano said, I'll just kind of run one up and in on him.
Target's inside, and the pitch is up and in.
In the air to right and deep. Justice back at the track. It's a tie ball game. Manny Ramirez has done it again.
Well, he's hit one for the home folks just across the river in Washington Heights. Big Dominican community over there, and home run number 19.
Here's O'Leary. Fouled straight back.
When this ball landed.
Has it landed?
Oh, man. He takes the lead away from Alex Rodriguez, and Carlos Delgado. A three-way tie has just been broken. Nice catch by a fan out the bleachers.
O'Leary gets around on that, rips it down the right field line, and the Red Sox will have the lead run at first with one out.
Once again, going back to that play at first base.
You think Mariano knew this was gone? Check his reaction. I mean, a pitcher can recognize that contact. You know that sound immediately. Manny Ramirez with his 19th home run. That leads the league. League's leading hitter. Triple Crown numbers. And Mariano's second blown save of the season, and it has put the primarily Yankee crowd in a little state of depression, as you saw by those two fans. You got to give a lot of credit to these Boston Red Sox coming back against the league's best reliever. They'll now get a little more speed on the bases. Darren Lewis will go into pinch run for Troy O'Leary. And with one out, we'll see if Jimmy Williams opts to have Lewis try to steal second base. Roll for a ball.
Mentioned the Red Sox are not a running team, and even with the speed of Darren Lewis, I bet you a few of those people from Washington Heights celebrating. Lewis does not have a stolen base this year, even with his type of speed.
Good high fastball.
Kitty, we were talking about how important this game is for both the Red Sox and the Yankees. It's a two-game swing. If the Red Sox win this game tonight, they will be 3 games ahead of Joe Torre and the Yankees. The Yankees win, they climb back to within 1 of the Red Sox. Defining ball games during the course of the season.
They really are. I mean, fans can say, well, it's only June. Sure, there's a lot of time left, but take over the years of the championships the Yankees have won. I remember a game in Baltimore a few years ago where they came back and won an extra inning game. There are a few games during the year that stand out and kind of kickstart your team on a good streak. Veritek swings to the high fastball again. It's 1-2.
I've been on a team that lost the division by 1 game. It's not a good feeling. You think back all summer that when you recall some games that might have gotten away late.
19 times these teams will meet, and it will not be again until September when they'll hook up. Those two as usual. Joe Torre listening to a few words from Don Zimmer. On the run is Lewis. In on the handle out to short right, and Lewis lost sight of the ball. Justice with the catch. Recovers as quickly as possible, and Lewis alertly gets back to first base.
That's a long run for David Justice over towards the foul line and concentrating. Watch him slide underneath it and make the catch. Ooh, good concentration. Almost dropped it. Caught it in the heel of the glove. Then got it back in. On the run, concentrating. And has it. There's Lewis off and running. Derek Jeter with a nice fake. Did Lewis, did he go by second base?
The Yankees did not appeal, and they could. He has to retrace his steps. I saw Derek Jeter looking at second base, and I thought they would appeal. But see, once he touches second base on the way back, he's got to touch it again. And he did not do that. Valentin with a late call for time. So A couple of little plays in this inning have kept the inning alive for the Red Sox. The double play could have been an out call. I don't think the Yankees can pin the game on that. That's in for a strike. You say why? Well, you know, credit Nixon for hitting a pretty tough 2-strike pitch, and that's a bang-bang call at first base that you have to look at a couple of replays to tell for sure, so you can't lay that on Randy Marsh's shoulders. In the air to the right side, Justice is waiting, and he'll put it away. So we are headed to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 6, because of this big swing by the league's best hitter.
Never seen him do that trick before. Does it sting? Nah. Talk about your bad luck, though. Hey, let me get you a refreshing Mike's Hard Lemonade. I'd much appreciate it.
A hard day calls for a hard lemonade. Make it Mike's.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
Spreading the love, my friend. Just spreading the love. Get a medium Coke free when you buy a delicious new 5-piece Mighty Wings at McDonald's. It's terrific chicken. It's a terrific deal. I can feel the love.
The completely redesigned Chrysler minivans now come equipped with yet another standard feature. Because Consumers Digest named Voyager a Best Buy, and AMCI called Town & Country the best minivan ever. Now get a $2,000 cash allowance on Chrysler minivans. So get to your Chrysler dealer today, because with award-winning values like these, you'll be the one with something to brag about.
Well, we have got a wild one here at the stadium. Pedro had a 4-1 lead. Looked like the Red Sox had it. Now it's 6-6, and here's that play the Yankees did not appeal.
Darren Lewis, you see he's on the third base side of second. He didn't touch it on the way back. They could have appealed, and he would have been out.
And the crafty veteran Rod Beck comes in his 25th game. He's come back from rather serious neck injury, some nerve root irritation. Mariano thinking about the next time he's going to battle Manny Ramirez in September and how they're going to go at it.
Second blown save of the season, and
encouraging words as pitching, you know, the best friend you've got in situations like this. Now, Carl Everett is not a left-hander. He marches to a little different drummer. So he's got a right-hand glove on the wrong hand, and he's playing catch like he's a left-hander. Well, Joe Torre made the switch, kept David Justice in the game after he pinch hit for Soriano for this reason. He leads off the ninth. Outside for a ball. Beck seems like he's been around forever. He's still just 32. Great years with the Giants and a big year with the Cubs.
Had as many as 51 saved in a season.
Grounded foul. Ball with a strike. Not the power that he had at one time. Has to depend a little bit more now on location, and I'm sure Rod Beck is aware of those numbers. He struck him out 5 times, but Justice has touched him up for 5 hits and a home run.
Beck, career 263 saves.
Breaking ball, 1-2. Back to April 22nd. Off Derek Lowe. And that was a David Justice home run. He's in the same situation again. High 2-2. We've had a few of these games lately. What usually happens is everyone wants to end it with a long ball. You see a lot of big swings and oftentimes a lot of strikeouts in these. When you go to the bottom of the ninth or extra innings, there's the man.
First night out in the field. 3 hits, including a homer.
Full count to Justice.
You know, if Manny weren't having such a good year, he'd probably say to him, why haven't I been out here all year long? You know?
Knobloch on deck. Rip but foul.
Like a little cutter or a slider in on the hands of Justice, and he was up to the task. The pitch was hard to keep fair. Target is low and away, but the pitch is inside.
Emergency swing and fouls it off to the left side.
The best hitter I ever saw taking those emergency swings is future Hall of Famer Eddie Murray. I mean, he could take the weirdest swings and foul off tough pitches. Then when you came in, it was lights out.
That's what the good hitters do. We've seen Manny Ramirez do it. Mariano talking over the last inning. With Soho, pitch just missed, and Justice draws a walk, and the Yankees have a winning run at first base with nobody out.
Well, if you think ahead, you figure that Knobloch might be bunting. Get the runner over. Take their chances with Derek Jeter, or they walk him. When you bring up a left-handed, you got Louis Soho following Derek Jeter.
Coleman on the bench as a potential pinch runner, but I think in this situation, sacrifice, Joe Torre feels comfortable with Justice there. Yankees, or the Red Sox, will toss over there just to see if Knobloch shows bunt. Coleman, Perez, Posada just left on that bench yet. Out again. Knobloch, if the bunt is on, and you would expect it would be, will try to bunt it toward Offerman at first base. A right-handed fielding first baseman, not as accomplished first baseman as say a Tino Martinez, be a much more difficult play for him. Breaking pitch in for a strike.
Chuck getting the sign from Willie Randolph as to what is his job on this next pitch. You would think he'd still be bunting. Watch it. I like the way that Rod Beck sets up on the mound. He kind of swings that arm back and forth like he's, you know, those old-time water pumps.
Keep those bone chips moving around.
I mean, we've got two routines here. Knobloch with the helmet, the gloves, and Rod Beck with the arm swinging back and forth.
Go out for some more of that clam chowder.
I mean, every player has their own idiosyncrasies that make them a ball player.
Is bunted toward the first base side. Beck will have but one play. Knobloch with a successful sacrifice, and the Yankees have the winning run at second with one out.
So Knobloch gets the job done. Only one play for Beck as he went to first base with Berloni covering. Knobloch, after taking a strike, at the same. See the Justice at the top of your picture. If Beck turns and throws a second, he's taking too much of a chance. He goes for the easy out and gets Knobloch.
Of course, Paul O'Neill out of the game right now, so Luis Soho is in the on-deck circle. Yes, they're going to walk Jeter. And here again is where the Yankees missed the versatility of Clay Bellinger. You hesitate to catch, to pinch hit Jorge Posada. You have no third catcher in the case of an injury. Or Soho has come up with some awfully big hits for the Yankees in past years. But in a perfect world, you'd rather have Posada hitting instead of Soho. The 2 on, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. Right now we head down to our studios in Manhattan to the MSG Sports Desk.
Thanks, Kitty. Yes, that is the waving hand and smiling face of Stan Fisher. We'll hear from Stan. He's in Denver, where the Devils lead 3-1 in the third.
Joe Kerrigan to the mound. If there's a patented Luis Soho hit, saw it off Mark Langston in the 1995 playoff game when the Angels and Mariners went at it. It is that little, I mean, nobody can hit a low sinker and flare it to right field like Luis Soho.
Of course, he had that bouncing ball through the middle of the World Series, right? Game-winning World Series hit. That was on a high fastball.
His skills have deteriorated a bit since last season. Not quite as quick as you might expect. He's logged a lot of service time in the big leagues as well as winter baseball.
He's only had 1 appearance in the last 12 games, Kitty. And in that appearance, he didn't bat.
And the Red Sox have talked it over. Outside for a ball. Key man right here is the right fielder. We talked about Chuck Knobloch playing a little closer in left, and right now, if you're Trot Nixon, you almost have to cheat in.
Yeah, he's a little too deep in right.
A couple of steps in right. 2-0. Beck wanted that one. Bernie Williams on deck, and he has been the Yankees' hottest hitter. Yes, he did. Looking fastball, got the breaking pitch. You saw the Red Sox bullpen. It's going to be in Rod Beck's hands.
What did you say, the Express? And then the Express, you got the local.
And those crafty pitchers, those hitting counts at 2-0, they'll get that breaking ball over.
Even with Pedro's power, we saw that tonight.
Off the edge, 3-1. Back again with a long look in at Dan Morrison. For years, this has been Joe Torre's favorite running count. Veritek's just set up too far outside to get that call. See what he does here to try to stay out of the double play and get Bernie Williams to the plate. Strike 2 and the count is full.
Right to the corner for a strike.
1 for me and 1 for you. There it is, inside the right field line, a Luis Soho hit, and the Yankees have won the ball game.
For a guy who hasn't batted in over 12 games, and you say he's going to flare one to right?
Well, that's like predicting a Tiger Woods 2-iron. I mean, he has got more of those hits in his big league career. Luis Soho, again, a hitting hero. And the Yankees win it 7-6, despite the hitting heroics of Manny Ramirez.
The Yankees score 1 run on 1 hit in the bottom of the 9th to win the game.
Mariano Rivera, despite giving up the 2-run homer, will get the win. Another look at the game winner.
Right on the corner, and Louis goes with it. Just fair. That's 2 hits tonight that the Yankees have got to hit the chalk down the right field line. Jeter, and now Soho, who has scored David Justice with the winning run. All on the top step. Well, I can't do that anymore.
Neither can Soho, but he can trot to first on a hit to right. Could could be one of those important defining victories for the Yankees as the season wears on. They were behind 3 runs to Pedro Martinez. Took a 2-run lead, saw the Red Sox tie it, and they win it. What a game at Yankee Stadium. We'll recap this when we come back on MSG.
You're going to love this all-new Sebring sedan. Notice the power mirrors. Great sound system. Power windows. It has a race-inspired suspension system and a powerful multi-valve engine. And it has the highest government front crash test rating. Oh, no.
Now get a $1,000 cash allowance or 0.9% APR financing on Sebring.
Just trying to help you. Some people are...
What you doing? Just paying some bills on Fleet Home Link.
How do you do that again?
You just click and pay.
What you doing now?
I'm transferring some funds.
Yeah, I got some funds to transfer too.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Big Time Shortstop, a little too cool to pay, hang around. Hey. Paying some bills?
Actually, I'm researching a bond fund.
Oh, yeah, bond funds. Gotta diversify. And on Fleet Home Link?
Fleet Home Link with Quick and Riley.
You know, you can invest with Fleet Home Link through Quick and...
Riley? You don't say.
Can I be honest with you guys? You're probably my best friend.
MSGstore.com, the online location for cool merchandise from the 2000 Subway Series, the Knicks, Rangers, and the hard-to-find Yankees Monopoly, all at MSGstore.com.
The press room has been the press room as long as Yankee Stadium has been Yankee Stadium.
Well, you can't come in here unless you're a member of the media covering the Yankees. Totally surrounded with the greatest collection of Yankee photographs I've ever seen.
Every time you look up, you get a different memory of someone else. I mean,
Babe.
I mean, here's Whitey Ford and Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra. And over here, I mean, I can't get enough. So you work the room. And the first stop you want to make is go to the back corner here.
This is where Bob Shepard eats his dinner every night, the PA announcer for 51 years.
And he was here Mickey's first year and Joe DiMaggio's last year.
Sitting right here is the 35-year organist of Yankee Stadium, Eddie Lee. Well, Eddie's greatest thing is when it rains, because he's got a selection of like 10 songs that deal with rain. Raindrops are falling on my head. They put Fat Babe Ruth next to the salad bar. Babe is working out with a medicine ball. I mean, the guy worked out. The guy ate like 20 hot dogs a game. But it all comes together as a complete Yankee experience when they serve Yankee pot roast. It's perfect.
More angles, more insight. MSG, it's more than just a game.
The magic and the memories will live forever at the world's most famous arena. And now you can be a permanent part of the Garden's rich history with Cheering for Children's Solid Ground program. Have your own personalized message engraved on one of these paving stones at the steps that line the entrance to the arena and the theater. And best of all, your purchase goes directly towards making the dreams of New York's children come true. Help make a difference. Leave your mark on the Garden and help put a child on solid ground.
Well, a clear night in Manhattan and a happy night for Yankee fans. They saw some ball game, and the Yankees came out on top 7-6. Let's check out the Jeep game summary. Mariano Rivera gave up 2 runs, but he gets the win. Rod Beck takes the loss. 4 home runs in the ball game, 1 by the Yankees, 3 by the Red Sox. And the Yankees continue to do well in games that Pedro Martinez starts. He's 1-6. But our Dodge Drive was not one of those monster home runs.
Man, not long ball, but little ball in the 9th inning, and it's Louis Soho. How can you sit on the bench for so long and come up with big hits? That's our Dodge Drive of the game. The game winner by Louis Soho in the bottom of the 9th. Don't try that at home.
Brings the Yankees within 1 game of the Red Sox in this 1-game series, a makeup game. And right now we head down to our studios in Manhattan.